about.
That's perfect. Okay. Looks good to me.
Yeah, so you want to try doing like actually hold on a second. Let me do something right quick here. Make sure Audacity's actually going to pick up everything this time. I should have just done this from the beginning
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's not have this happen
and
again.
just ran it.
I wonder what
Why does
happened.
it sound like crap again? Oh, okay, I know why it sounds like crap because I'm still.
Can y'all hear me? Because I have my mic muted on the stream. I feel like stereo. Oh yeah. Oh no.
Apparently, this mic picks up more than mine ever did.
Apparently.
Yeah, I noticed one thing with that mic, Matt. I always had it close to my face. I actually try and keep it like a foot away. Oh, what else
How
did
about
I
that?
talk again?
How about that?
A little bit closer.
How about that?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm gonna pick it up a little bit.
I'm finna.
Let's just do a still photo of Josh for his picture.
Oh God.
I have a couple of them from way
I was gonna say,
back.
Yeah.
all of Rob's
Yeah.
are gonna be from like 2014, and it's gonna be really bad.
I won't do you like that.
Come on.
Gotta get
Do we want to? When do we want to kick this thing off?
me get that thing on the street. Same size as should be. All right, boys. Are we ready for this?
Oh, give me 1 second here to open up Audacity.
Ready to
Let's
do the final
let's say a little
countdown.
prayer quick to make sure this doesn't happen again with the losing however much audio.
Dear Matt, please don't do that again. Amen.
Dear Slim.
I'm gonna change my name in this to Kim, and then somebody's Stan, and then somebody's Marshall.
We need Chase. We still got to do that rap battle from
Oh no.
our other
Oh, my,
podcast.
I need a third monitor. There's a
do it
lot
next
going
time.
on
Just
here.
Put another one above your other two.
That sounds so insane.
I have to
Sitting on a dinky old laptop.
toss a HDMI cable on the TV on, if I'm being honest.
Jeez.
Ah, jeez.
All right, boys, let me know when you're ready for the countdown.
I am good to go.
I'm ready when you are, buddy.
1 sec.
Are we doing 3, 2, 1, go, or just 3, 2, 1?
3, 2, 1. Press it on go.
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back, finally.
We're back for real this time.
After so much demand, after so much controversy, finally, 3 years later, and after 1 week of error, it's back.
One small error, you know, or my computers didn't pick up anything at all.
What's very unfortunate is the fact that probably would have been a much brighter and much happier episode. Because 1 week ago, things were very different in Buffalo land.
Clearly.
But thanks to a monster by the name of Derrick Henry. Times are yes, we call him Father, Papa, sometimes even.
Minority owner of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. It was a rough week 4. No doubt about it. I think that we kick things off here by discussing the obvious thing, the fact that we looked completely outmatched and just completely pathetic against the Baltimore Ravens.
Outplayed,
outclassed, outmanned, outnumbered even.
Looks like a JV team trying to play against varsity.
Yeah.
All right, so boys, what are your thoughts on that? What do you think was the reasoning behind all of it?
We looked I would say we looked like more sluggish, slower. We clearly did not have all of our starters good to go, as evidenced by the fact that our defense could not do a thing against any of them, but especially Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Bills always have, it seems like 1 or 2 games a year where they just cannot stop the run at all. Like every other game seems like they kind of make do, playing the nickel package and everything. But that game the other night, they just got gashed and gashed again.
I mean, literally
over and over.
From the first offensive play from Baltimore, it was the second he broke free and got into the secondary, it was done. It was game. There was nothing. I literally from that second, I was like, this is gonna be just like that game a couple of years ago against the Colts.
Yep, and that's why I put in the group chat like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like they looked like crap their first offensive drive, and then that happens. And it's like, this is gonna be a long night.
There were a couple of like bad drops. Josh didn't look amazing. He didn't look bad. I wouldn't put it, the loss anywhere close to being on him. Like,
I mean, we lost the battle in the trenches. There's no doubt about it. On both sides of the ball.
Jimbo looked a little ineffective as well.
Yep. And we got ourselves in a hole. Couldn't get out of. Mm-hmm. Could have got out of it until we did the flippy doodah.
Yeah, that was infuriating. I don't know. We finally had momentum. Things looked firmly like they were switching as they have on Baltimore this entire season. Until a bad man by the name of Kyle Van Noy came up behind Josh Allen. And with one swipe of his meaty claws, changed the course of the game. And just fucked it.
All I can say is that I'm glad
for advertising purposes.
All I can say about that is I'm glad that Josh didn't get hurt on that hit.
Yeah, no, that could have been
for
way
a second.
worse.
For a second, it looked like he did. Same with Kincaid. They were both down, and that was the second I knew that the game was a loss.
So I went to bed. Obviously, we already talked about this in the group chat that night. I just couldn't take it anymore. I probably would have thrown a hissy fit if I was still awake for that.
I was definitely considering it. In fact, I did go to bed before the game ended. I went to bed at like the end of the third quarter. I would have gotten my sleep. Then
I went to bed at halftime. I was so unbelievably just ticked off. I couldn't take it. I'm like, they look like crap. They can't do anything. They can't stop a running nose on defense. And I mean, like I said, I didn't watch any of the second half. I heard that they were driving. I heard they scored pretty easily on that first drive out of halftime or whatever. And then they were driving again to score to make it, 21-17.
I mean, up until that play, they were moving. They were playing good. Honestly, it looked like they were going to come back. And then they did and it fell apart.
The defense came out of the gate and they stopped them. And the offense came out of the gate and they looked like they were really having their way with them. And then all of a sudden they decided to do that, which was busted from the first snap when it went directly to who flipped it to Josh? Was that
Curtis Samuel?
That was Curtis Samuel. Yeah, like it looked just janky. Josh was way too close to him. He flipped the ball to him. By the time Josh even got back to cock his arm, it was done.
I mean, you talk about hospital passes. That was a hospital play. Yeah, we did everything that we could in our power to send Josh Allen into an ambulance to the hospital.
Yeah, that was quite frightening. I'm surprised he didn't mess up his elbow.
Because I thought he first broke his hand, and then I thought he might have had a concussion right after.
I thought he jammed his fingers on the first initial hit, and then when he got knocked down, it looked like he whiplashed his head a little bit against the grass.
And I mean, we can play with a quarterback with one broken hand, but maybe not with two.
Not two.
Yeah,
no.
And
no.
As much as I love Mitchie Biscuits, the MVP, I don't think the Bills stand much of a chance with him being his next man.
Josh Allen
literally the
is
MVP.
This team, but Josh Allen is this team at this point. I mean, he's the only reason you could put 4 guys out there that are. I mean, they're good wide receivers. Don't get me wrong, but they're not like wide.
They're for run blocking, and we all know that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I mean, that is not true. Keon Coleman. I mean. For the talk about him he might not be good. He's not that good of a route runner. He's not that fast or whatever. The guy can catch a football. He can make play. He did have a drop, but it is what it is. Huge drop.
Yes, but he also made 2 unbelievable catches along the sideline
Yeah.
and made it look easy. And those are
Yes.
not. Those are number one. They were amazing throws by Josh Allen. But number two, they were just the skill to get the feet where they need to be to maintain the catch against contact with a man right in your face.
I mean,
That's
physically, the guy's a. I didn't ever really realize it, but the guy's a monster,
he's a big
Yeah.
man for sure.
which is good because our red zone offense has always been put everybody wide and let Josh Allen scramble in if he has to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that we
Pretty
finally
much.
have guys that can make those catches in the end zone.
Well, yeah.
Now,
You just have a
granted,
guy you
for
can throw it up to.
for a little bit, that sort of game plan has worked where, we got guys on the outside and then Josh, extends the play, decides, screw it, let's just run it in. And then usually he gets in because he's 6'5", 250 pounds. But it just looked like nothing was working that night. And I mean, in terms of, bright spots, obviously we got Keon. And then also Khalil Shakir on that one play where Josh is forced out to the sideline and he just launches it probably 40 yards down the field, 50 yards. And it just dropped right in the bucket. I'm shocked he didn't get in.
Honestly, I think that Josh Allen is on another level this year. I think that this might be the best that we've actually seen him play. I mean, he still hasn't thrown an interception.
Yeah.
Like,
2 fumbles, but I would
2 fumbles.
say,
One of them was clearly not his fault.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Curtis
one of
Samuel
them
should have
was-
thrown that ball out of bounds. Like, that was just.
Well, I mean, that was a bad snap.
Point it out of bounds. I don't care what you do.
I mean, you had a guy that. I mean, he's not a quarterback. He takes the snap. He runs to the sideline. He sees guys running at him. He panics. He throws it to the guy that's supposed to have the ball, and he got absolutely drilled.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like I said, I'm happy I went to sleep for that because that would have been pretty rough if I'd have still been awake and watching that. That group chat would have been popping off for about 20 minutes of just me going at it.
And I have an interesting thing to bring up to you. See what your thoughts are. Derrick Henry's making $8 million a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is solid for a running back. Honestly, he probably
Yeah.
could have got more. Everybody said he was washed. He's clearly not.
No.
Should the Bills have tried to sign him? I know cap space was tight, but should the Bills have tried to get him? Because I feel like he's a minority owner of the Bills. Every time we play him, I feel like no matter how bad of a team his team is, I just feel like I don't like those games when we play against him. Because he fits so badly against our defensive scheme, I guess I would put it that way.
Yeah. But, I mean, at this point, I like what they have in Cook. I like what they have in Ray Davis. I like what they have in Ty Johnson. Like, I get bringing him in to kind of be your bell cow. But at this point in his career, like,
I'm not even saying your bell cow. I'm just saying so we don't got to play the guy.
Yeah, but at the same point, that's like getting a guy from like the Chiefs or something just to be like, oh, the Chiefs can't have him, trying to keep him away. That just doesn't work. It's not the way you want to try to play football. You want to try to play to win, not try to play to make other teams not beat us.
No, I think that we would win. I just think that it's like, I'll put it this way. I would rather play the Chiefs in the playoffs right now. I would rather play. No matter how the Ravens play for the rest of the year, no matter what their record is, no matter what any of the seeding is, I don't want to play the Ravens. Thoughts?
Oh, can you not hear Josh? Oh, you still can't hear Josh. Oh, this is falling apart at the seams. Hold on, where are we at? We're at like 10-ish minutes, by the way, Robbie, if you want to leave yourself a timestamp.
I don't know why I can't hear Josh.
I don't know. He said he was leaving and then coming back, but
I didn't change anything.
No, I think he got disconnected at one point, and then
I think we got to talk in Discord.
You got to talk in Discord. All right, just mute this. All right, let's see if it's like a double. I can hear you, Josh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see.
If I left the stream thing, if I left Streamlabs, would that be fine, or do I have to stay in it?
I don't think it.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
not
hold on.
on the thing.
Okay, there we go. All right, so this is a solid like 2 minutes that Rob can
Yeah,
edit
we'll
out.
be fine.
So now we gotta figure out what we were talking about.
Well, I also got to see how I can turn Robbie down to where it's not echoing like really, really bad
On Discord?
on either. It echoes like half the time when you talk when we're using Discord.
Just
and
mute me
this.
on Discord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, that
Hey,
works,
we
I
said we were
guess.
going to get on a little bit early and test it out. Here we
Yeah,
are. We
yeah,
tested it out. I think we just restart.
You want to restart the whole thing?
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
we're like
I'm
12 minutes
down.
in. Okay, hold on.
We can-
Before we do this, what is everybody's time at for this? Did you end up at like 12:08?
Yeah, 12:08 on the dot.
Mine was
Okay.
12:12, but I might have.
Okay, you probably pressed early. Let me close out of Audacity and go back in because I think that was the issue last time I looked it up. It was like if you're testing a lot and you do this and do that and again, then sometimes it messes with your Audacity files.
We're off our game.
No,
we've
it's been
at
tech,
it for a while.
it's been technology. That too. Once we find our groove, I feel like things go good.
Like a douchebag with the chain out. Like, be for real.
Meh. No.
All right, so I think what I have to do. Up and
Okay, you're
Hello,
muted
hello.
again, I think.
oh,
Hello? I hear
Oh, wait,
Rob.
hold on. There we go. Nope, just kidding.
yeah, we're good. I'm sitting really far away.
Oh, okay. I personally think I look like a douchebag. I'm putting a chain back in the shirt, but
Matt, you look fly.
Dude, why can't I open Discord?
It says you're in here.
I don't even have the app open. I honestly don't know what's going on.
you're still in here.
Hello.
So this poster behind me, I was it was real cockeyed when I first started testing out my camera. So I was like looking behind me trying to like fix it to get it to look right, and trying to do everything backwards was just absolutely wrecking my brain.
Rob, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I gotta. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Hopefully.
All right.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
Josh
I
again.
just left and came back.
There
Rob,
we
can you
go.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
We're having a time here, boys.
We're getting old.
How do you mute somebody on Discord?
You just right click and mute.
You pound the screen until it stops.
It's gonna be my next step. Speak, Matt.
Hello. Can you hear me on
Matt,
Streamlabs?
Yeah,
Speak.
that's what I'm hearing you off.
Sit, shake.
Good, Rob.
All right.
Good, Rob. You want a treat?
Yes.
I think a sweet treat.
All right. We ready?
Yeah, give me 1 second here. As soon as you're ready, Josh, you can give us the
I am
countdown,
ready.
Robbie. On go.
3, 2, 1, go. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is definitely the first
After-
try
yeah.
and the first episode
Yes.
that we have done.
Yeah, this definitely isn't the second episode that we've done. Tried to come back, had technical
Second and like a
difficulties.
sixth.
Yeah, we tried to do it again this time. Had more technical difficulties, but I think we're back. I think we're gonna run it this time.
You know what they say, third
stated
time's the
before-
charm.
As I stated before we started recording, I feel like this has to do with age. We are much older, much wiser
Yeah, we're
much more
old
ancient.
men.
Yeah, we're
than when we
dumb.
first recorded. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
stupid.
also dumb. Usually, I mean, honestly, the last time we had Nick to help us out a lot, but
I just think
we're-
at 25, when your brain finishes developing, it's also when your mental decline begins, and I just think it's happened very rapidly for all three of us.
I think we
You're probably right.
were just aged out of the game. We're essentially
Yes, exactly.
we're the Unk Squad, if you will.
Yes. In honor of
Uh,
Shannon Sharp, who you know, great
Anyway.
football player. Rob,
Uh,
would you like to segue?
Yeah. How about them Bills, baby?
Yeah. When we first recorded this episode a week ago, we were in much higher spirits. Things looked great. They looked unstoppable, and now we look like a very average squad, I would say, with all the injuries and the big blowout the other night.
Yeah, I would agree.
yeah, I mean, one game doesn't make a season. They weren't gonna win all 17, but
No,
you'd like
but I feel like this is like the first three. Like you had the Cardinals, who
yeah, we don't know
But
what
I-
they are really.
it's just and then the Dolphins, like we injured Tua, we did dominate them, and they did look to be a good team
Yeah.
until Tua went down, and then we got the Jags, who just did not
Might be
stand
the
a
worst team in
chance.
football.
They are the worst team in football, as a matter of fact.
yeah.
They're 0-4.
Yeah, no,
And
they're
now-
bad.
We finally got a contender, and they stomped us. Which I don't know if that goes to show if it was just like a fluke, like a bad game, or if this goes to show who the Bills may actually be, as long as guys like Taron Johnson and Matt Milano are out.
I got a
Yeah,
couple
I-
thoughts on this. I don't
Oh, okay.
think that they're a bad team. I think they had a bad week. I think they had a game plan that they had set in place, and then Derrick Henry touched the ball, and their game plan went out the window.
Oh yeah, went right to crap real quick.
From that first offensive play by Baltimore, the game was sort of set in stone.
Yeah.
What I expected it to be. I didn't go into it with a ton of confidence, despite our massive victory last week. It's Baltimore. They're always tricky. Lamar Jackson is, like it or not, he's the MVP, the reigning MVP.
Yeah,
And despite him maybe not deserving it last season, I can safely say he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And I
Yeah,
think he
I
showed
mean-
why. With the assistance of, Derrick Henry. He had his way with
Yeah.
us. There's nothing we could have done.
yeah. I mean, if nothing else, he's the top 5.
I mean, Derrick Henry's one of the best, if not the best, running backs of a generation. And I don't know. I mean, we've had good success against that Ravens team, but not with the Ravens team with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Unfortunate the Ravens all put it all together the game that we played them.
Well, Derrick
Yeah.
Henry has run all over us before, and this game was no exception. It was kind of, I don't know, at his age, you don't see a lot of running backs make a resurgence after seeming like their careers have been over. And it seemed like he was kind of just, he had a couple of great years, and then he kind of like Zeke, just kind of tumbled off, and he'd have another season or two, and then he'd call it quits at like 30.
Yeah.
But he looks destructive. He looks bigger than ever. He looks
Yeah.
faster than before, somehow. Dude was throwing around people like children. And I mean, there's no, I don't know, 199 rushing yards.
I mean, the guy's just
Yeah,
an
I mean
absolute
that's
monster.
that's domination.
I mean, he's a
that's actually
linebacker with like 4.4, 4.3 speed. Like,
Yeah.
Nobody at that weight should be running that fast. He
No,
looks
dude-
bigger than he has before. And he
Dude's
is
an
just-
animal.
I've
And
never
he
seen a man
outran
that
our-
size move like that.
he outran like 4 or 5 defensive backs on that touchdown.
Yeah, DeMar didn't stand a chance. And
And all I'm
Yeah.
saying is I said it during the game. If I'm a defensive back, if I'm a 6 foot tall, 190 pound defensive back, and that man's running at me full speed, There's a question in my mind: am I going to continue the rest of my career, or
Is
am
it-
I going to try and
yeah,
make
is
this
it-
tackle?
Is it
Business
worth?
decision.
Is it worth the
Taylor
potential
Red
of
literally
it?
got hurt trying to tackle him, and it
Yeah.
wasn't even
And he
that
made the
crazy
tackle.
of a tackle. Like,
And it was just like and he's still like he looked like he was, destroyed.
like the
Under the
hitman might
single
have very
run.
well have dislocated his shoulder and gave himself a concussion just trying to bring the guy down.
I thought he had the
Like,
wind knocked out of him.
he probably had that too.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean,
His
look
house
at the Bills.
probably
I
blew
think-
down too.
True.
I
Big
think-
bad wolf.
I think he might be out this week. They're talking about starting Cole Bishop and maybe Mike Edwards. I think, right, is the other safety. That they
So
picked
that's the
up
thing.
from-
Is I've been wanting to see Cole Bishop. Like,
Yeah,
we were
me
playing
too.
good, you'd stick with the high hand.
Mhm.
Of course, I definitely see that. I want to see Cole Bishop get in a game, especially a meaningful game against some good receiver.
Yes.
Yes.
I want to see what the guy can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I said before, is that it seems like every year the Bills have at least one or two games where they just get absolutely gashed by the run game, and there's nothing they can do about it. And then they,
Mhm.
you get nervous and you get afraid that's going to be like, okay, this is what the league's going to do now. Is they're just going to run over the Bills. And then
I mean, it certainly
you
is,
see year after year though that they fix it. Just I don't know if it's that they have these one-off bad games, or if it is like a bigger issue that they just decide one day, like, hey, we're gonna fix this.
So
I mean, last year began similarly, where they got off to a hot start. They lost in week 4, and then they just tumbled for a couple of weeks until they found their footing and finished off, hot. But
so my thing
it's
is I'm a hopeful guy,
okay,
And
an optimist.
the thing last year and the year before, every time that they had a bad game or they weren't playing good, the camera would pan over the sideline and you just see it on their faces. They just looked like they were just destroyed. I
Suppressed
still
Josh Allen.
feel like you didn't see that. Like, Josh
No,
Allen
just-
seemed locked in still coming into that third quarter, still trying to win
That's
the
the thing,
game.
despite getting blown out, it seemed like they were in good spirits the entire game. Which some people, they're old school, are gonna be like, oh, they don't want to win enough. But like, I would much
Mhm.
rather see that. Just be like, hey, this is one game. We take it one game at a time.
There's
Like, this
some
doesn't affect
games,
us for
there's
the
some
rest of the year.
players where you want to see that, where you want to see that they take a loss super
Yes.
heavily. This is not one of those teams.
No.
No.
Because when they start taking losses super heavily, you start seeing it in them. They just start playing bad. They
It
play with
starts
no
to snowball.
confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh's
This is
passes
such-
are worse. The defensive line doesn't hold up. The offensive line's not pass or run blocking as good as they usually are.
Yeah.
I
No,
just
for
think
sure.
I think everybody on the team was able to identify what exactly happened. They knew what issues they had. Nobody really blamed one another. It was just kind of like, okay, well, the defense didn't, they're down a couple men and they just couldn't execute against a team like that.
Yep.
And then offensively,
Yeah.
first and foremost, our offensive line didn't look like how they did the first couple of weeks. They looked like they were getting
No.
steamrolled. Josh Allen had maybe 2 seconds in the pocket before he had to scramble and make up his mind, which worked out in some cases. There were a couple of great plays where Josh was forced to the sideline. And twice he had to flip it to Keon Coleman, who made great catches along the sideline. And then twice he had to scramble for his life. And then on one play where he was being pushed out of bounds, essentially, he had to jump and throw it probably close to 50 yards to Khalil Shakir, who happened to be wide open down the field. But I mean, still, like, that's just too close to call. He had to put his body on the line and be super Josh again, which is something that we kind of wanted to start putting to bed as he's, aged.
Yeah.
But it worked out, which is great. Didn't win, but it was a great, bright spot.
So my thing is I feel like McDermott's back. That's weird to say after a loss like that, but I feel like now that Diggs is gone, now that there's not all these distractions and everything, now that we actually have a defensive coordinator again, I feel like McDermott's kind of gotten a better reign on that team,
Mm-hmm.
like how he used to
think-
have.
I think especially like, local media likes to kind of put McDermott down. And granted, McDermott's been, too conservative at times. He's made a couple questionable calls. He's not the quickest to adjust. But I think in terms of like the game plan overall and the way things go, I think a lot of it has to be put, physically on the team. You can't blame everything on
Yeah.
McDermott and then call for a change. Then once Sean's gone and things continue exactly the same, we look back and we're like, oh, geez,
One thing-
it's not worth.
I kept saying this when Bills fans kept calling for Sean McDermott to get fired. I don't think people remember, Bills fans especially, how bad the Bills were before they had Sean McDermott.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, we got spoiled the last 5, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it's been. That they've had really good teams. That for 17 years before that, they were absolute garbage, like irrelevant kind of garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they were at the
So
bottom of the league for the majority of these years because they just couldn't. They couldn't maintain an offense all season. They get off to these solid starts. I would remember in like the 2000s, early 2010s. Like they would get off to these surprising starts, like 4-1, 5-2.
yep.
Like Bills
No.
fans don't remember that we would used to cling on to on other teams would be second or third string quarterbacks that would have like 4 good games and we would be like, oh, they're the greatest quarterback in Bills history. They're the best quarterback in the league. Like that's
Yeah.
what Bills fans don't remember.
Mhm.
And that's
No,
what
I mean that's the thing.
that's what I've
too,
always
like, we-
hated about Bills fans.
Yeah, it's super emotional either way. Either it's super emotional one way where it's like, hey, we're the best team ever. Wow, this team's insane. And they have one bad week and it's kind of like, oh, everything's on fire. We're going to die. This sucks.
Yeah.
Like Caleb said in the chat here, like we were at one point rooting for a Rex Ryan led Bills team.
Yes.
Just think of that. Like that dude is a subpar commentator on ESPN now.
Our
Yeah.
starting quarterback at one point was Kyle Orton. End
Yeah.
of career Twilight Kyle
Yep.
Orton,
Yep.
who Uncle Rico went out there, and it was fun to watch because you didn't know what to expect. Sometimes he'd, absolutely lose it, and then sometimes he'd go off.
See,
This
that would
guy
be
finished
like
37.
right now if you had a team where Nick Foles was your starting quarterback and you were like, oh,
Yeah.
we're back. We're so
Yeah.
back. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like a Josh Johnson team. Like it just feels like a journeyman quarterback comes into town, and you hope these, rinky-dink guys who you might have drafted a year or two ago, along with these random, aging acquisitions we'd make, could try and
Yes.
get in there.
that
and
we would
Charles
overpay
Wood make
for.
this change, or like a guy we drafted like Sammy Watkins. I remember the hype when Sammy Watkins got drafted, and everyone was like, he's the next great receiver. Buffalo's gonna love him. EJ Manuel's gonna go out there, or whoever is gonna start
Yep.
throwing darts to him.
Listen,
And it's just like,
to be fair,
didn't
if
have-
Sammy Watkins didn't get hurt, he wasn't
had a
injury
great-
riddled.
he
He could have been a
good
phenomenal player.
Yeah. And like him and like Robert Woods and like Stevie Johnson, like we had a couple of good receivers over the years, but for the most part, a guy with the consistency of Josh Allen, who again, like this loss was not on him. It was on bits and pieces of everybody, which honestly
Yeah.
makes me feel a little better about it because it's just like, okay, there's these little things we can sort of pick up, identify, and then move on from. So I think the bright spots, the loss sucked. It was a blowout, which we haven't seen the Bills take in a very long time. That's another thing people need to identify is like, for the last couple of years, even if the Bills lost, it was rarely by more than like a score or two.
Which I think feeds into a lot of this too, because they
That is true, and
I don't
it's
even know
not
how many
true.
years it was.
Because we did have a stat for a while where if it was a 1-score game, like we never lost by 1 score or something like that, didn't we? Like it was either that we would always
so-
blow teams out or get blown out.
No, for the last 4 or 5 years, I think it is, they really hadn't lost by more than 1 score more than 1 or 2 different times, I think, in the regular season.
I thought it was that we hadn't lost a 1-score game.
No, every game they would lose would be by 6 points or less.
Yeah, it
Except
was usually
for
like
the
within
Colts
like, a
game,
touchdown.
and then in 2020 the Titans game. The COVID, they got 2 weeks to prepare. That game was a
I mean,
blowout.
that consistency is remarkable, and that's something we never had. We had no consistency for such 18 years.
Well,
I believe it
consistently
was.
bad.
18 years of just either we'd shock the world and upset somebody, or we get deservedly so stomped on. Well, a couple of our good guys like Kyle Williams and Fred Jackson basically had to just kind of flounder in these places for a while, and then they're the lovable losers, and that's it.
No, we
Yeah.
weren't even lovable. Everybody just didn't care.
I mean, people like the Bills. It's weird to be hated on now because people like to either tear
Well,
down
that's
Josh
nobody
or Stephon
cared.
Diggs formerly. Like,
Then they were starting to be good, and everybody across the country loved the Bills.
yeah,
Yep.
And now everybody's like, the Bills are awful. Josh Allen's mid.
I don't think anybody says the Bills are necessarily bad. I just think they kind of pretend we're like, I don't know. They pretend they're fake. Like it's a fluke. Like every season is a fluke. They've been consistently good for so long now.
But
Yeah.
listen, I get where
The
they're
issue
coming
is,
from because
They got
as Bills fans, we say the same
Fair.
things about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And let's be honest, they've both essentially done the same thing.
Yeah.
Neither of them have won a Super Bowl.
No.
Yeah.
So I can see
Well,
where they're coming
Lamar-
from, but
Lamar's got 2 MVPs. Josh doesn't have 1. So I mean,
Josh Allen
that's
has
another
more
bragging right there.
player of the weeks though. and Lamar
Yes.
Jackson over the span of their
Because the MVP
career.
is kind of a popularity contest. It's just kind of, you know, it's a little.
It's
a little
whoever's team wins the
trending.
1 seed and has halfway decent numbers.
A recency bias, perhaps. It's just, yeah,
Which
I don't know.
it's whatever. I don't really care. Like I've said a billion times, I don't care if Josh wins no MVPs throughout his career, but wins at least 1 Super Bowl before we die. I don't care. Like it does not affect me at all, and I know it doesn't affect him. Every interview he does, he pretty much sits there and says that he does not care about personal like records, personal anything.
Josh has a Derek Jeter like sort of streak of very, you know, being pretty media trained, being pretty like selfless.
Hey, Derek
He's a good
Jeter was one of the
personality.
statistically worst players of all time.
Okay, hey,
I don't want
hey,
to
hey,
hear
hey,
any
hey,
talk
hey,
about that
hey,
man and
enough,
Josh Allen in
enough,
the same
enough,
sentence.
enough. That is
I don't
not
want
what
to
we're
hear.
talking about.
I don't want
That
to
is
hear
not what we're
another
talking
word
about.
about that
Derek
man in
Jeter-
the same sentence
Oh,
as Joshua
the catch,
Patrick Allen.
the dive. Oh,
Yeah,
he hit
Josh
3,000
Allen
home
gets
runs.
called. Josh Allen gets called overrated. Derek Jeter was actually overrated.
Okay, that's enough of that.
The
This
man
is
had like
irrelevant.
2
The
good
point is-
seasons.
The point is, I think as long as the Bills have Josh Allen, they're going to continue to be contenders. Even if he was throwing to a baby, I think they could, you know.
So that's the thing, is I feel like our ceiling's always going to be, it'll be whatever the team is, but our floor
Yeah.
is, it's always a little, it's high. Like our
Mhm.
floor is going to be high because we have Josh Allen.
Yeah,
He has to. If our receivers are hurt, if we don't have good receivers or something, then I mean,
So
it is what it
here's-
is. He can make
Here's
the
a
play.
proposition. What about Devontae Adams?
too much money.
I don't want him.
Way too much money.
I don't want him.
He's
It
on
would
the trade
take.
block, but
Here's
I
the
just-
thing, though. It would take way too much, like for Las Vegas to take on his entire contract, whatever, to move him.
I think it'd be
It would
a
take way
Diggs
too much.
2.0.
Well, that too, but it would take way too much to get him over here. I mean, they're asking, I think I saw earlier, like a second and then like another type of future considerations type deal, like a second and a fifth or something like that from any other team. But if they have to take on, like, keep that entire contract on their books for the Bills to make it work for them, you're going to have to send them a first round pick.
Yeah.
And I
It
don't
is a
think
big
Devontae Adams is worth a first round pick at this point.
I
He's
like
a
who we have at
phenomenal player,
receiver.
but
I think everything fits good. They're all good run blockers. Keon Coleman's a rookie, but he's already shown flashes that he can be
I was gonna say a lot of
a
these guys are
pretty
very
good
young.
receiver at minimum.
Even Shakir is still young.
And Shakir,
Even
I
Kincaid
think
is
Shakir's a
still young.
good number 1 receiver.
Like the only aging guys on our offense really are like Jimbo's pretty young. Dawson Knox maybe, like he's the oldest.
I mean, Mac Hollins
the
is
older
old,
ones.
but he's also
Mac
not
Hollins,
like
yeah.
not a focus point of the offense.
MVS is essentially a decoy. Like you're not really gonna see him. Curtis Samuel, I don't.
He's
on the
probably
older
like
side, but I
28
don't
or
think
something.
he's-
know.
I don't think he's crazy old. I mean, they went from being one of the oldest teams in football, I think, to, I mean, they're still decently old, but not as bad as it was. Getting rid of the guys you did on the defensive side of the ball, and losing Diggs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Matt, I wanna transition a little bit here.
Okay.
I don't know if this is gonna be a happier or even sadder note. How are
Oh,
them
geez.
Sabres doing?
The Buffalo Sabres.
So-
I saw they
Preseason
dropped a
champions.
stinker.
No, not a stinker. Come on.
I think it was a stinker.
Well, I think they lost 6-3 to Columbus in the preseason, but it was also the Rochester Americans, pretty much, because all
Okay.
of the actual Sabres were over in Europe.
Okay.
Now they did defeat Detroit in overtime.
Yeah, they went, I think, 5-1 or 6-1, I think, in the preseason.
All in
So,
all, they showed
5-1.
Defensively, they look solid. I would
preseason
say.
champions, I call that. I mean, half
Yeah,
those games
yeah.
were played by guys that are going to be on the Amerks or maybe down in the ECHL this year. So
So Caleb brings up an interesting question here. Is Tage
Yeah,
Thompson the Derek Jeter of the Sabres?
no, Tage Thompson's actually good.
Okay. No, nuh-uh. You're not recording this to defecate on our Lord and Savior, Derek Jesus.
2 of us here are not Yankees fans by any means.
No, I'm a
I
huge
don't-
Sox fan. I
Yeah,
do not like the Yankees at all.
But also,
God.
I'm an objective fan. And objectively, Derek Jeter is one of the worst shortstops of all.
Okay. Well, see, you know what's not
Yeah,
on the
I
outline for
agree.
this episode is any discussion about Derek Jeter's qualifications. Okay,
You
so
brought
the
him up,
Buffalo Sabres,
Josh. You brought him up.
The Buffalo Sabres into this upcoming season. Matt, what is your prediction? What do you how do you think they're going to do?
So I'm predicting.
Just the record, not the point.
Well, I don't know. I can't do the points. I got to do the points and then try to figure out the record in my head. But I mean, I think they'll end up with like 94 points. I think just enough to make that last wild card spot. I
Do you
think.
think they're going to eke in finally after 13
I
years? You
hope
think this
so.
is
They
it?
they need to. They absolutely need to at this point. If
The
they
fact that
don't,
they haven't is
yeah,
pretty sad. But yeah,
if
like
they don't, there's going to
San
be a lot
Jose
of
has.
changes around there, and I got a bad feeling when those changes come, it's going to be a whole nother rebuild that takes 5 years, and my heart can't take that.
So what was your predictions there, Matt?
So I said like 94 points, just sneaking into the final wild card.
Interesting. Wouldn't have got him in last year.
I know, but
Josh, Josh,
I
what are your
think the Eastern
thoughts?
Conference. Here's the thing.
Um,
Let me finish quick here before we get Josh in. I think the Eastern Conference is getting a little bit weaker. Last
Bold
year,
claim.
Washington made it in. I think is the last wild card or second to last wild card. I'm not totally sure. They are going to be garbage this year. I don't care what anybody says. Last year they snuck in off the back of just a crazy run by Ovi, and that does not
Mhm.
happen when you're 37, 38 years old. Like it I can't believe it happened last year, but the dude, like, he's a phenomenal talent. He cannot win games on his own for that team. And
No.
then you look at the Islanders. I think the Islanders were the last playoff spot, or they might have been the third in the Metro. But either way, they had like 15 or
Undeservedly so.
16. They had like 15 or 16 loser points from making it into overtime, and something like that. You can't expect that to happen again either. Like,
No.
they were a sub 500 team that made the playoffs because of the loser point in hockey.
All right, I can
All right.
see where you're coming from here. Josh, what are your predictions here?
So the Sabres, I think the biggest thing is they need to be better defensively. They tend to love to give up goals and then just keep giving up
Yes.
goals and then not fight back and then just keep giving up goals and then they quit and they keep giving up goals and then they just lose a lot. Like they just seem like they give up, especially around the second half of the season where they know they're falling out of the playoff race and they know they can't really keep up with these better teams and then injuries start piling up and then it just becomes sad. So I think what they got to do is they got to keep fighting. I hope to God they can eke in and finally show the league what they're all about. Because if the Utah Hockey Club gets in somehow and the Buffalo Sabres don't, I am retiring from the NHL. I simply cannot handle.
Here's the thing with Utah. Not for nothing, they literally just absorbed the Arizona Coyotes organization, and that's not a
Yes.
bad team. They're a pretty decent up and coming team. So them getting in wouldn't surprise me. Not for nothing at all.
No,
But I
for
mean,
nothing.
Caleb just said in the chat, and I completely agree with him. They got to stop. Like, a lot of these teams, every year you'll see teams make it in based off of those loser points in hockey. The Sabres, it seems like they either win the game outright. They the same thing like we said with the Bills prior, is it feels like they either blow teams out or they get blown out and don't make it to overtime to get that point.
The issue is they get blown out way more often than they blow out. So in reality, it's just they gotta
They weren't
they need to
that
contend.
bad. So last year, the record says a little bit of a different story than what my eyes told me. My eyes told me last year that team was not in it since the turn of the new year. I mean, UPL showed up, was playing his butt off. I mean, they were scoring goals. They were a little bit better, but still, there's a reason they made that change at the end of the season. Getting rid of Don Granato.
So I'll put it this way: they got a score differential of +2. There's two teams, the Islanders and the Capitals, last year that made it in with a score differential of -17 for the Islanders and
Yeah.
-37 for the Capitals.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I have data to back this up. This isn't just me being a fan. Like, don't get me wrong, me being a fan is absolutely a part of this, but like, there's data to back this up that the Eastern Conference is going to be weaker this year than I think it was last year.
Josh, what are your predictions here? What's your points prediction? Think they'll make the playoffs?
My points prediction. Okay, so I think 94 would be about right. I'm gonna be a little more hopeful. I'm gonna say they get maybe over 100. I think they might do that. I think they might actually
Be
they
nice.
might more than just eke in. They might firmly get into the playoffs. And I think
You want to slap
Maybe like-
a number at the end of that 100?
So here's the issue with the Buffalo Sabres. They've
The
been
Sabres.
consistently disappointing. They work up,
Yeah.
and they look like they could compete.
This is what
And
Bills
at some
fans need
point-
to think about right here. Is the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's the issue with me is like I have the Bills keeping me up here, and the Sabres just drive me down into the ground like every
Mhm.
year. Like it's always like, oh, the Bills are good. At least the Bills are good. And
There's
then
nothing to
they
fall
start to
back
play
on.
like crap, and then it's like just around time hockey season starts. It's like, hey, at least I got the Sabres to watch.
Mhm.
And then I watch the Sabres, and I remember why I hate myself.
Well, Matt. I'm shocked they even got to like 500 last year. However, I think they're going to end up. Let's put them more. I think they win at least 45 this year.
Just a number,
At least
Josh.
45 dubs.
So I
You want a
personally
specific points
think
number?
I want
I'll
a
go
points
exactly
number.
100. Exactly 100.
exactly 100.
Exactly
I
100.
think switching out Don Granato for Lindy Ruff, just the way his systems run, the way he runs.
It's been a good spark
mean,
to see him much more aggressive.
Yes, I think you get probably 4 or 5 extra wins just based off of that, changing nothing else, just based off of the coaching change. And then you figure in, guys are getting older. I mean, Paterka was a breakout candidate last year, scored 30 goals, I think, even something like that.
Mhm.
He's good. You're gonna have, hopefully, knock on wood, you're gonna have a healthy Quinn this year. Them two on a line with Dylan Cousins. I mean, they have room for growth. I mean, exponential growth. They're all still super young. I think they're younger than us. All of them are younger than us.
It's not saying much anymore.
Yeah,
No, but
it's
at this
becoming less
point,
and less
like it's
impressive.
still like at 25 years old, we're still younger than most of the population. Like I
Yes.
understand, not sports wise, but like there's young guys on this team that still have room for growth.
So I got a
And you
prediction
brought in-
here for the Sabres. Now, I don't think Sabres fans are gonna like.
Oh, geez.
I'm gonna say that they're gonna end the season with 86 points, miss the playoffs.
So just barely better than last year.
Barely
Still
better.
not making it. Okay.
Barely better. And I think,
It's
unfortunately,
entirely possible.
we'll all overreact again. We'll get a new coach in again, and the trend will continue.
Yes.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: if we overreact and try to get a new coach in, it's going to be the whole front office is gone. Kevin Adams will be out. If
I'm
they
being
were-
honest, Matt. How is the front office still there?
They shouldn't be. They really shouldn't be.
True,
I mean,
true.
they. So here's my major gripe with the Sabres. Ever since they went into this rebuild, they're not spending money. They're not spending any money at all. Like that, yeah, they leave cap space in case, like at the deadline, they want to go make a big trade or something. But the issue is with this year, like you buy out Jeff Skinner, you get an extra $8.5 million, whatever, freed up. That $8.5 million is still freed up on the cap space. Like they did not spend any of that money. So I don't know if that's Pagula or if that's Kevin Adams trying to keep, his options open or what's happening with that. But it drives me nuts.
So I
Because
see
for
what you're coming from
years-
here, because I see it, big Celtics fan, and I saw it for years and years and years with the Boston Celtics. We had pieces to trade, we had money, we had draft picks, we had the most draft picks, the most valuable draft picks of any franchise, and we sat on them. We didn't do much with them, and then we got Kyrie Irving, got essentially nothing for him because Kemba Walker got injured and essentially retired.
Yeah.
So by the time all of that was said and done, we didn't get anything. But they built it from within. They drafted right. They got the right people. Do you think the Sabres are capable of doing the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, a lot of it is built from within for what it's completely worth. I mean, yes, Tage Thompson was traded for in that Ryan O'Reilly deal, but he also was in the AHL at that point. So
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know
he's
if he
played there
really-
for
He's
years.
still homegrown. I mean, he played for the Amherst. I mean, he's still technically a homegrown prospect.
Would you say that he's the Al Horford of the Sabres?
El Horrible.
I
Shout out
mean,
to Megan on
statistically,
that one.
he's one of the best three-point shooting centers in the history of the NBA.
Yeah, that's not a hard, find. But no, I mean, I seriously, I do think that they have the pieces there to make a run at least being a relevant hockey team again. mean, at this point, like you have 2 or 3 lines that are actual NHL equivalent hockey lines. Like they
Mhm.
don't look like crap. And then that fourth line, you got guys that, I mean, high motor, high energy, hits. I mean, I'm not sure they don't really fight, but
So
like
would
that's
you
not
say
really
that
what
this
hockey is
team
anymore.
is 1 or 2 pieces away, 1 or 2 players away from being an
Yeah.
actual
No.
contender?
Yes, for being a contender, yeah, I would
Okay.
think so. I mean, honestly, you probably would still need another top 6 forward. When they brought in Jason Zucker, who is 32, 33 years old, scored 35 goals plus a couple years ago. I mean, it's not like he's super far removed from, the scoring touch that he had. Last year was a down year. I think he might have been with Arizona, or might have been half with Arizona, half with Pittsburgh, something like that. I mean, they needed a veteran presence, so I don't hate it. I don't think he's a top 6 forward anymore. I mean, he's a guy, if you had him at
Is there any top
third
6 forwards we could
third
get?
left wing, not anymore. There was at one point Patrick Laine was looking for a trade out of Columbus, and he ended up getting traded to Montreal. Ended up getting hurt, unfortunately. I mean, not that that would have happened here. It was a freak incident, but like
Mhm.
there's it's slim pickings out there, I think. And the issue is too now. We had a lot of draft capital to trade, but hockey, and I don't know really honestly how much this affects other sports, but hockey's got like no trade clause, no movement clause, stuff like that. So like guys that were asking for trades out of their teams, if the Sabres tried to trade for them, they basically could say like, I don't want to go there, of which I don't really blame them. I mean, 12,
So
13 years was, I mean, that's a long time
I mean
to not make the playoffs in a league where half the teams make the playoffs.
and that's the thing that the Bills always struggle with too, and that's the thing is that when you have a team in Buffalo, you have to be good first, and then you can start getting the
Yes.
talent that wants to go
Yeah.
there. Because
Hockey's a little bit different with that because hockey players and football players are different. Just
yeah, I mean, hockey players are usually from the north. They're from
Yes.
Canada. I mean, I
yeah,
get
so
that.
it's not like it's a weather thing, but it is a lot of like a
Yeah.
winning culture type of thing where you don't want to go. I mean, again, I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to go to a team that hasn't made the playoffs in 12 years.
Yeah.
And like,
Well,
yeah,
not
it
just
might
that
get
too.
$1 million or 2 more.
If you're
but,
a
like, is it
millionaire,
worth-
would you rather live in Buffalo or Toronto? Because I know
No,
my
exactly.
answer.
Yeah.
Although the taxes in Toronto are nuts.
Hey, the taxes
Canada in
here are
general.
nuts.
So Matt,
Yeah,
I have a
but-
question, I guess, somewhat pertaining to this.
Yeah.
In football, there's been a history of people, basically saying, "I don't want to be drafted here," and then if they've been drafted there, they just don't sign there. Like Eli
Correct.
Manning, I think Jim
Yeah.
Kelly did it with Buffalo. John Elway did it with Baltimore. So I mean,
Yeah.
is anything like that happened in hockey before? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, so it actually happens all the time. Guys get drafted, especially like college players. That's why you see a lot of teams don't really like to draft college players high unless they know. The way it works is I think you sign your entry level contract, or you might have the option to not sign it for like 2 or 3 years. But once you're a senior in college, if you haven't like signed your contract or if it already ran out or whatever the rules are, you can basically become like a free agent from that point forward. I mean, we had it happen a couple times with it was a goalie. I can't remember his name. It's Cal Peterson, I think, that was drafted in like the 3rd or 4th round. I think in like 2015 or something like that. That decided not to come to the Sabres
Oh, jeez.
and ended up. I don't know if they traded his rights or if he signed as a free agent or what happened, but I think he might be with Los Angeles now. Might be with the Kings. And then more recently, they had Eric Pontillo, that was goalie for Michigan, that played with power. Was on a decent Michigan team. Saw now that there's not really a path to becoming the starting goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres, and decided he would much rather not sign with the Sabres. And they ended up trading his rights. And I can't even remember to who, but it happens. It happens a lot, actually.
Interesting.
I mean, the most famous one is probably Will Butcher.
What did he do?
He was drafted, I think, by New Jersey, might have been, or Colorado, one of the two, and didn't sign, and then it became like this big like lottery almost because he was like a top 5 prospect in hockey, in all of college hockey, and I mean he didn't end up working out. obviously he was a Sabre for like a year and a half, 2 years, whatever, and he was kind of garbage. But like that happens a lot in hockey. But it seems like it's more like college hockey than it is like,
Hmm.
juniors or like foreign players and stuff like that.
Understandable. Have a good day.
Yeah. But speaking of the draft, I see Caleb in the chat asking who's that cat we drafted this year. His name is Consta Helenius.
Oh yes, that
I
amazing
believe
name.
he's Swedish or Finnish, but that kid, I mean, he looks really good. I mean, from everything I hear, everything I see, it looks like his floor is higher than anybody else's in the draft this year, just because he's already like a pro ready, player. His ceiling might not be as high, but I mean, even if you draft, third line center with that kind of upside at 11, 12, 13, whatever they picked at, it's still, pretty good. And he's ready to come over here. He's going to play for the Amerks this year. And there's guys that they drafted 4 years ago that are still playing overseas somewhere.
All right.
But
I mean,
I'm
not going to get my
cautiously
hopes up.
optimistic.
So every year I hear every
Cautiously
Sabres fan
optimistic.
I know say, this is the year you want to start watching. The Sabres are going to be good. And every year I tune in at the
I
end of the year. There they are, not making the playoff.
genuinely, I think this is the year they either shock the world and they just go off and dominate, or they yet again collapse halfway through the year and end up going under 500.
I
That's
won't
just
believe in
Yeah.
the Sabres until they prove me wrong.
No, and you have every right to do that because I shouldn't either. Yeah, they're like a ex-boyfriend that you keep going back to and they keep breaking your heart, but damn it, do you do it every year?
yes,
All
sir.
right.
You just keep on going. You just keep on going.
Let's take a little bit of a transition here. Let's go around the NFL. See what's happening in
Mhm.
the other neck
Mhm.
of the woods, as the great Hal Roker would always say.
My
Uh
favorite.
what do you think about them Jets? I know the Bills dropped a stinker, and I wrote this before the Bills dropped a stinker, so it's kind of tough to talk about that now. But
Well, the fact that the Jets took such a sticker against such a mediocre team like the 2024 Denver Broncos with Bo Nix, what do you
Bo
have
Nix, mind
60?
you, he had 60 yards and
60.
one touchdown.
He had like -7 passing yards at half.
Do you remember that game last year that the Chiefs lost against? Was it Aiden? What's his name
McConnell?
of the
Aiden
Raiders? Yeah,
O'Connell.
we had
O'Connell.
less than 100 passing yards. Yeah, like that feels like that, except worse
So what are your guesses here for the Broncos' total offense in that game?
in terms of like
In terms of yards.
In terms of
uh
yards, so he had 60 personal passing yards, but that doesn't include like sacks and stuff like that in your total
I'm gonna
passing
go
yards.
I'm gonna go 98 yards total.
I'm gonna say like 86.
It was 186. So they did have a
Wow.
Oh, okay,
good
okay.
run game, but mind you,
Okay.
Javonte Williams had 77 rushing yards. That was the highest. So
Okay.
Yeah. In my defense, I didn't really watch that game. I was at Appalumpkin the whole time, but
I mean, just an
I
absolute
knew that they.
stinker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I
Everything I
mean,
heard it was a horrible game to watch. Like
the
there's
Jets had
there's bad
more total
games.
yards, passing yards, yards per play, more first downs. I mean, literally everything. They had 13 penalties for 90 yards.
I think what makes me feel better as a Bills fan right now. I mean, obviously, again, it's just one game that they lost, but nobody else in the division won, and everybody else in the division looks pretty bad. Like I can't even begin to say that there's a single contender. Like the Dolphins look lost without Tua. The Jets, if Aaron Rodgers can't save them, nobody can.
The Dolphins looked lost with Tua, so that
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
really
true, but
make
they
that
look
much
even
of a
more
difference.
lost
I know
without
it
him.
was, I know it was week 2,
And the
but like
Pats
they were
don't have a
getting
quarterback.
destroyed in that game. Yeah, the Pats
Or-
don't. But the Patriots, I mean, the Patriots being bad makes my soul happy.
Like the Bills could win the division barely being over 500. I feel this
I
year
mean,
because everybody else is just so sloppy.
the points differential in the division. I mean, the Bills have just math off the top of my head, a 39 point differential. The
Yes.
Jets have a 14, and they're the next highest.
Yeah.
So unless the Bills really fall off and or Josh Allen gets hurt or something like that, I think the division is ours. It's just
God
a matter of,
forbid.
will it translate to the playoffs, and can we get past those dastardly Chiefs?
I think the
If they
thing
make it.
is, I think I would rather play the Chiefs this year in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
I said that exact same thing last year, and look how that turned out.
Well, yeah,
I
but
mean,
the
granted,
Chiefs
we
know how
were
to
a
turn it on in the playoffs.
bass
Yeah,
field
but the
goal
thing
away
is
from tying that game, but
and that's actually another topic that we could discuss here in a minute.
that is true. Yeah, he's
Oh,
not
jeez.
doing great.
I like Tyler Bass, but that miss was really kind of the nail in the coffin. I don't know.
I
He
mean,
made a 50. He made a 50-yarder.
I love
Yeah,
the
right
guy.
up the
I don't
middle.
know what's going on. They could all be bad holds. I have no idea. I'm not watching
That's the
these
thing. It
all
could
in
simply
slow
be
motion.
bad
I don't
luck.
have the game film. But,
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
something's going on. Guy
But
used
in
to
my
be
opinion,
locked in. He was kicking in the hardest stadium in the NFL to kick in, and he was
Yeah.
one of the top kickers. And now he's just, I mean, it's
Yeah.
not every other, but you have. When I see him kick a field goal from anything 35 plus, the thoughts in the back of my mind, like, is he going to make this? Like,
and that shouldn't we shouldn't have to do that with a professional kicker,
he kind of makes
especially
me
one
nervous
of
in extra
his
points. I
caliber.
mean, he hasn't missed many, but I mean, it's just the inconsistencies and just the yips he seems to get. It's just too much. You can't have a kicker like that on your team if you can't
Yeah.
depend on him. Like say what you want about him about Harrison Bucker, but I mean, typically he makes most big kicks. I mean, there are guys like Jake Elliott. Like, there's just a couple guys in the league who are just constantly dependable, and I
I
just
mean,
don't know if
Brandon
Bass
Aubrey
is
for
one of them.
the Cowboys.
Yeah,
That dude
he's been
is I
crazy.
mean, except for that one that the perfect commentator jinx, but he's pretty automatic from 55 in.
I couldn't see Bass making any over like 53. Like 50, he nailed it, but even that was like a wow. Like I'm shocked he made that feeling. It was less of
Yeah,
a, oh, of
which
course,
again
I knew
is
he'd make
not what
that.
you want to see. You don't want to have to think in the back of your mind like, oh, this is a 47-yard kick. I don't think our kicker is going to make this. Is not what you want to think.
yeah.
But I think, I mean, a lot of it, like I said last week in our lost episode, is that
It's a collector's item now.
kickers are like goalies, like they're head cases. So
Yeah,
stuff
the yips.
starts going bad, and it's just they get like it just snowballs really, really bad, and the next thing you know, you got guys that can't kick anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, much like baseball, if you get in your own head and you start thinking, oh, I've been popping out a lot lately, or I can't make any. Like, once you get into your head and you just start making these little mistakes, then it really eats at you. And I just think as a kicker in the NFL, there's such a small margin for error that if you
Yeah.
get used to shanking them,
I mean, any
or coming
kicker
out short.
besides, Justin Tucker or the top guys are essentially 2 bad kicks away from not having a job.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen it before. We've seen kickers go into a game and they'll miss 2, maybe 3 kicks, and then that's the last time you ever hear of them.
Well, the thing is, too, the Bills have already brought in guys to try out. Like very
Steven
clearly, they see
Hauschka.
the writings on the wall as well. Like you don't bring in kickers to try out if your guys,
I
if
mean,
you have
just having a
full
little bit of fun.
confidence in your guy.
I don't think that we're at a point where we get rid of them, but I think we're at a
I
point
don't
where
think so
if
either, but-
we're at the same, if we're having the same conversation mid-season, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought somebody else.
Yeah,
I would be stunned if like, let's say the next game, if he makes a couple errors, like if he misses 2, if he misses 2 field goals in a game, then I think he's automatically just like, I think that's
Yeah,
it.
I would
If he
honestly have
misses
to
an
agree
extra
with you.
point, if he misses an extra point, then I really think it's it. I can't see them. He's already walking on a tightrope. I don't know.
yeah.
He's
I
really
mean,
gotta
that's the issue.
buck up.
I don't know how serious they are with bringing in. Like, I don't even know. I couldn't name off the top of my head who they brought in to try out. So that could say more than it doesn't. I mean, it could be like, hey, we're trying guys out just to see what's
I mean,
out
it's
there
probably
kind
one of
thing,
those
but-
things that we have somebody there just in case it continues to happen that we don't get into
Yeah.
playoff time and all of a sudden not have a kicker.
Yeah, no, you just have a contingency plan. You want to have kind of feelers out there, kind of like you do for everything else. But I don't know. I mean, I think he still has it in him, but I think he's also kind of got himself in a bad headspace where he's super worried about missing kicks.
I
Well,
mean,
the
it was
issue
that
is
kick
he
in the
happened
to miss
playoffs.
kicks.
multiple times.
It was the kick in the playoffs. I mean, that's what did it.
Yeah,
He was
No,
shaky
that's
before that,
mental.
so I think he was already in his mind. But after he missed that, I mean,
It just compounds.
And I mean, put yourself in his shoes. It's understandable. It's just you got to be reliable to be an NFL kicker, and that's just
Yeah.
if he's not that, then bye bye.
Yeah, and I mean, I take nothing away from him or any of the other. I mean, any of the players in the league. Like, we could not do that.
No.
So it's not like we're crapping on him for.
I couldn't make a football,
But
or I couldn't make a
yeah,
field
no,
goal. And
I-
and
Ronnie
after
couldn't
all
make
of
a
that,
football.
I couldn't make a point. Wow. Speaking thing has never been my strong. Either that reading
Yeah.
thing.
Or the reading thing. Or that drawing thing.
Now, to smoothly segue, there are two teams. Say the Bills do make the Super Bowl, who they may potentially have to play: the Washington Commanders and the Minnesota
As
Vikings. Both.
shocking as that is to say,
Yeah.
No,
Those
For
are
either
just
of them.
very,
wagon.
in the past, like milk toast bland teams who.
I
just,
mean,
even
this-
if they're doing good. Don't look
this
that good.
NFC is looking wild. Can you guys name the four teams that are leading each division in the NFC right now?
So the Vikings, the Commanders, the Buccaneers, and what am I missing? AFC or an NFC West?
Niners.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
the
say the-
Niners.
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
the
Oh,
Seahawks.
I'm not too bad, right? I'm not too bad at this.
So
Geno
this
Smith
is just a
passing
weird
yards in the league.
season.
Yeah.
Like,
I like. Listen. I love the fire that the Commanders and the Vikings both show. Like they're both very exciting teams. The Vikings just look dominant. They look like they could be off.
they got a
Yeah.
team, dude. All they needed was a guy to put the ball where the ball needs to go.
Darnold. I thought Darnold would have been out of the league.
I mean, he couldn't have
That
asked
man-
for a better place to be in.
No.
He just has to put the ball where it needs to be, and I'm not saying that's easy because it's not, but he's
No.
doing it, and that team
It's
is.
a Christmas miracle.
He's doing it at a high level too. This isn't just like dink and dunk. This is.
I mean, they're the only undefeated
know.
team without an asterisk next to it.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're doing it dominantly too. I mean, that defense, honestly, now that I'm looking at these stats, the defense has only
yeah.
allowed 59
Mhm.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
no,
defense, is crazy.
is
I'll have
Which
to
gives them
check,
much
but
more
that's got to be
leeway.
lowest.
Gives them much more leeway for their offense to maybe not score as much, except they're scoring a ton.
Yeah, I mean they're blowing teams out. They're blowing
And
really good teams out.
Justin Jefferson is playing how Stephon Diggs was a couple of years ago. Like he's just destroying people. And Sammy Darns is just he hasn't made many mistakes at all.
And that's all he needs to
Top
keep
three in the
doing.
bucket. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there has to be. I know there already is, but there has to be a conversation about how these teams misused these quarterbacks.
Yes.
And look at them now. I mean, the Jets with Darnold and with Geno Smith,
Yep.
and look at Cleveland with Baker Mayfield. I mean,
Ugh,
these guys
yeah.
are all.
I mean, if
I don't
you're
know
the
if I'd say top
Browns
10 quarterbacks right now, but I mean they're pretty close. Top 10, top 12 quarterbacks
this
like-
season, I'd have to put him probably top 10. This
Yeah,
season,
no, absolutely.
because this season I'm
Absolutely.
probably not putting Jalen Hurts. I'm probably not putting Dak Prescott. I mean,
Patrick Mahomes, I wouldn't put in the top 10.
I
And
mean,
Mahomes is still Mahomes. He
Okay, maybe,
honestly, he'll get
maybe.
carried.
I mean, Jordan Love's
He'll
been
get carried for the
hurt,
rest of his career based off of what he's won. I mean,
but
he'll
it's
be a
even
top
the same
three
thing with the
quarterback
Lions.
regardless.
I mean, they have Jared
Yeah.
Goff. Jared Goff,
Yeah.
when he was on the
Receiving
Rams,
touchdown.
when he
Yeah,
was with the
receiving
Rams, we were
touchdown.
all like, "Oh, he's so overrated. He's getting carried so hard." Now he's with the Rams and or not with the Rams, with the Lions, and now they're actually probably going to be a contender for at least a couple more years.
No, they
Yeah.
absolutely are. I mean, and
What a
it's
division
good.
that
It's really good to see Detroit be good too. I mean, it's the same thing, kind of like everybody else saw the Bills is how we see Detroit.
Yes.
It's
Mhm.
like the little
Well, I
brother
mean-
that got kicked around forever, and now that they're good, it's like, hey, good for them. And
But you look at that
I'll
division.
I'll be happy for them right up until they have to play the Bills and something. And I'll be like, nope, screw
They
'em.
play if it's a
Yeah.
Bills Lions Super Bowl. I would almost
It'll
take
feed
that.
generations.
I would take that over a Bills Cowboys Super Bowl if the Bills lost either of them, because at least if the Bills lost to the Lions, it's like I don't know. I would
The Lions.
still be happy for the Lions. The Cowboys one, I
Yeah.
would not want to listen to that.
I would be okay with it being the Lions. I wouldn't be happy for them. I would just be like, okay, well,
I would
there's
take
anybody.
that better than any other team in the NFL.
Mhm.
But I mean, I don't know. On Commanders, can I just point out too, their quarterback, Jaden Daniels, number 3 overall fantasy quarterback.
Yes.
Hey, I mean, we knew going into this, he's got the rushing upside. You just needed to make sure he didn't get murdered on the field. That's all you really needed to do. I mean, he's a phenomenal talent. I mean, I thought he was better than Caleb Williams in real life, not just fantasy, but in real life. But I mean, I guess again, we're 4 games into both of their careers. I don't want to overreact to anything, but I mean, the kid looks like he's for real.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he's kind of like Lamar Jackson when Lamar came into the league. I would say he's definitely not as good of a rusher because Lamar was doing crazy things when he came into the league.
Huh.
But I would say he's probably a better passer than Lamar was when he came into the
Yeah, I mean, he's slinging that thing.
I
He's
mean, his
absolutely
completion
on bomb.
percentage is off the charts.
It's like 84% or
Off
something,
the
isn't it?
scale.
Like this week, he was 26 for 30. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you
Those
got
are
me into an
crazy
NFL
numbers.
game throwing 30 passes. I would be happy if I threw one of them to a running back that was standing 1 yard away from me.
Yeah, for real. If I could dump it down.
And he's younger
But
than
no,
all.
I can't remember. I don't know. You probably don't know either who the offensive coordinator is for Washington. But very clearly, he's scheming guys open, and Jaden Daniels is finding the open man. I mean, he's playing out of his mind.
And I think that this is a conversation that needs to be had across the NFL, and you did touch on it. But these teams are building their rosters in like the worst ways imaginable.
Yeah.
They're like you look at the Panthers. I couldn't name you 4 players on the Panthers, right? I literally couldn't name you 4. Honestly, I would struggle naming you 3, 2 even.
Yeah, Andy Dalton's the starting quarterback now.
Andy
That's all
Dalton.
I know.
I could name their
And,
quarterbacks. Like,
Thielen and is Brian Burns still on that team? I don't
no,
know.
I think
Is
he's on the
J.C. Horn
Giants.
still playing cornerback for him?
I have no idea. So that's what I mean. And they went out and they said, "Oh, we need a quarterback. We need a quarterback." Well, they went out and got a quarterback. They didn't put an offensive line in front of them. They didn't give him receivers.
No.
He barely has running backs. The defense is
Coaching
still
out of the league's
awful.
Not that good.
The coaching's not there. Like, you have to
Ownership's
do
horrible. I mean, David Tepper
Threw
is the
him-
worst owner in football.
like you have
Absolutely.
to do what the Commanders and what the Vikings have done. You have to have a roster. And like,
Which again is a wild statement to be comparing other teams to them for good things.
especially the Commanders. The Vikings have been
Yes.
decent for years at this
Yes.
point. But like the
Mhm.
Commanders have been,
Stock.
yeah, an absolute joke of a franchise for
Well,
so
inside
many
and out,
years.
From ownership down, they were pathetic, and
Yeah.
the scandals and the mess, just the cheap stadium, everything
FedEx
about
Field
them
falling apart.
screamed mediocrity. It screamed
Yeah.
cheapness. It screamed them not knowing what the hell they're doing. But now it feels like they're finally taking a big step in the right direction, and I'm rooting for them. I want to see them do good, switch things up.
I mean, I don't specifically root for anybody that isn't the Bills. Like I know I just
No,
said Detroit,
but-
like I kind of do, but like at this point, I like seeing underdog stories. It's nice, and I don't know how long it really takes before they're not underdogs anymore. They're just actual contenders. I mean, this is the
Exactly.
same thing like you saw with the Bills, where it's like, oh, they're the lovable losers. Oh, they actually might be decent, and then it's like, wow, these guys are a contender. Like that's the same thing I think is happening with Washington right now. Is they're beating good teams. It's not like they're beating absolute garbage.
I mean, they're leading that division, and everybody came into the season. I mean, on paper, there's no reason the Cowboys should be bad. On paper, there's no reason the Eagles should be bad, and they're leading that
It's all
division.
about it's just execution, and they're executing like Washington's executing.
Yeah.
The Bills, for the most part, have executed. But then the Ravens started off not executing at all, looking terrible, still almost collapsing, but now they're starting to execute, and things are working. And Derrick Henry, on paper, in the year of our Lord 2024, might not have sounded very exciting, but all of a sudden he's looking like one of the best backs in the league, and it's just because he's executing and he's just doing.
I mean, they were geniuses for bringing in Derrick Henry on that. I mean,
Yep.
that team's always struggled at running back, not to their own fault. They've always had good running backs. They just always all
J.K.
get hurt.
Dobbins had like
Like-
back-to-back years
Yeah.
with an ACL tear, and then he also tore his Achilles or something. Like they had bad luck. I mean, Justice Hill is a decent running back, but he's not Derrick Henry.
No, I mean, so they did a good job. And I mean, you look at these teams, like you look at the Buccaneers. I mean, the Buccaneers, I mean, Baker Mayfield's probably like the 10th best player on that team just because of like the talent that they've brought in to that team.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Mike
same thing with
Evans
the
continues
Vikings.
to be a top 10 wide receiver despite being, despite his age. I mean, yeah, those are 4 really good teams if you consider we're talking about, the Baltimore too. 4 really good teams that are building their teams right. I mean, not for nothing. They're not like built from the ground up, homemade talent, but like
I mean, hey,
there's a lot of
they
guys
brought the
around.
right guys in that they needed to bring in. Like,
Yeah.
And then you look at teams like the Jets, and it's like you bring in Aaron Rodgers, and it's like, and you draft a couple young rookies. Like, when like Sauce Gardner and
Mhm.
but like there's not a team there. Like the offensive line is probably not that good. The defensive line is mid.
They're not.
I couldn't even name their linebackers. I could only name one corner. I honestly could only name one player in that entire secondary. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like these
The
teams are
thing
just
is-
trying to get these high name people in, and it just
Well,
like the
that's kind
Panthers
of
were
what my
expecting to
point
say
is gonna
Bryce
be.
Young and just be better because they have Bryce Young, who is a really hyped up college prospect.
Yeah.
Whether he's good, bad, or not, I don't know. I mean, we saw it with Sam Darnold. The guy
Yeah.
came in, he looked awful. Now look at him. He's on an
Yeah.
undefeated
When you have a team around you
team.
that's not
Like,
garbage.
so it's hard to even say. I don't even. And that's the thing is, I don't even put it on these young quarterbacks or these rookies anymore because it's just
Yeah.
it all comes down to which franchise is actually trying to win, which franchise actually knows what they're doing.
But I mean, that's the same thing I've said. Kind of to go back a little bit on what we were talking about, like about the Sabres and stuff. Like, it always seems like they tried to add through free agency, just like, oh, let's go get the big fish free agent. That doesn't make your team. You're
No.
just bringing on a guy that is a really, really good player, but he's going to play with garbage.
Look at how many
You need to
times
build
Belichick
from
did it with the
within, and
Patriots. He would bring in some random guy that you've only ever heard of like once before, who's played a game in the
Yeah.
last 2 years,
Yeah.
and he would come in and he would turn him into a star because he would
Yeah,
put him
some
in the
random-
right position.
Some random white slot receiver he'd bring in from some nowhere college,
Exactly,
in the,
'cause-
Division 3 or JUCO, and he'll
Then you
be
get Tom Brady.
a god.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, they
Well,
did it with Tom
get Taylor
Brady. I
Yards.
mean, Tom Brady was
Yeah.
Tom Brady literally went to a team that had no prospects the year before and won a Super Bowl with them in 1 year. And
I
that was
mean,
it.
that's just the case of like you got to build a team the right way. I mean, and that's what these teams aren't realizing, and that's what the NFL is a real copycat league, and I think the Chiefs kind of proved it last year with not really having too much top tier talent on their team, but they have talent where they need talent. Like their
Absolutely.
offensive line was good. The receivers at times sold them a couple of games, but at the end of the day, they were still decent enough. I mean,
They're
they
passable.
won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you have the best quarterback in football, and that defense was stout.
Yeah,
That's all you really need in a case like that. And that's why, honestly, so I heard Colin Cowherd talking about like the Giants having all the pieces. They just need a quarterback. And I know you're a big Danny Dimes guy, but the Giants have the coaching, I think. I mean, I like Dable. I know he's not.
I was never
you know,
big on
killing
Dable.
it, but they don't have a quarterback that will win them football games. Like, that defense is pretty good. Their running game's passable. I mean, I know they just got rid of Saquon. If you had him instead of Singletary, you'd probably be a little bit better off. But regardless, if you bring in a quarterback that's even like you bring in like a Sam Darnold, I think they would win more games. Like, the Giants are not a bad team top to bottom. It just hasn't been working out because you kind of get held down by subpar QB play.
Well, that too, and they've also been riddled with injuries. I mean, last year it was Danny
Yes.
Dimes. The year before, I think it was Saquon, or maybe it was the year before that. But like, I mean, they are definitely a team that I could see within the next few years put it together. If it's with Daniel Jones or if it's not with Daniel Jones, I mean, I definitely
Yeah.
could see them being a team that is contending with the Commanders for that division. As nuts as that absolutely sounds.
Yeah, I still can't believe that that's a topic, but I mean, hey, they're playing good ball. It's like I said, this isn't a fluke. This isn't like they played 3-0-3 teams. They're just kind of getting lucky. They're going to get punched in the mouth. Like, they're playing pretty decent teams and beating the crap out of them.
I would say their schedule is real comparable to the Bills, and they're 4-0, and the Bills are 3-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to get into the predictions for the week, there, bud?
Oh, sure, they're a guy.
Heck yeah, brother.
All right, let me get this pulled.
Yeah,
You
we're
segued
starting
before
now.
you're ready.
We're starting now on those predictions because last week I think you probably hear your own, but you couldn't hear mine. I would assume with the
Not to
technical
mention,
difficulties I was having.
we were like an hour and a half in.
All right,
Right
boys,
now.
let's kick this off. Buccaneers Falcons.
Buccaneers.
I'll take the Falcons. I think the Bucks are kind of a week-to-week team, and so are the Falcons. But that's exactly the point. I see Kyle Pitts making a bit of a resurgence. I think he's going to make a big touchdown grab, maybe over 100 yards receiving. I think it's the return of Kyle Pitts this week.
Or he'll have one target, no catch.
Or
That
one
man had
target,
0
yards,
fantasy
one
points,
catch.
Josh.
Yeah.
Hey. Watch.
I see they still don't.
I
know
went
how to use
6-0
him.
in fantasy this week. I can see things, Rob.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
get into this.
We're not doing this again, Josh.
Because he
has
played
4
me.
quarterbacks on
I
his
was one
roster.
of the people that he beat.
Oh yeah.
So Matt went Bucks, Josh went Falcons. I'm going
Yes.
Bucks because I was a big Falcons might be good guy, and I don't think they'll be good anymore.
Mhm.
Jets, Vikings.
Vikings.
Aaron Rodgers is going to do his best, but I don't think their defense can contain the Vikings. I think Sammy D is going to go nuts on them. I think 3 touchdowns for Sam Darnold is pretty solid prediction.
Yeah, I mean, my personal thought with all that is I do still have the Vikings winning that game. I don't see the Jets coming out laying another stinker. I don't think Aaron Rodgers will allow for that. I think he's kind of one of those guys in the locker room that's going to just light him up all week to get ready for this game. But I still think that Minnesota is probably too good, and they're going to just overpower the Jets.
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of going along with Matt's thinking here. And I think that the Vikings are due to not play at the top of their game. I'm going to
Which is
go
fair.
Jets. It's hard. No team's ever gone completely undefeated, not at least in the last 50 years. Panthers, Bears. Do we even care?
I'll
I'll
give Andy Dalton. I'll give Andy Dalton the edge in this one. I think he's going to lead the Panthers to their second win.
Josh is Panthers.
Game, though.
Matt's is Bears.
I got the Bears.
The Panthers put up a fight against Cincy. They still lost, but they put up a solid fight. And I just think the Bears are pretty anemic most of the time.
Cincy's also bad. I don't care what anybody has to say.
Yeah,
Cincy's
I don't think
bad.
they're that good. I'm going to say that there's enough film on Andy Dalton on the Patriots that the Bears are winning.
You mean the Panthers?
No, Bears are winning this game.
No, you said
there's enough. There's enough.
Patriots.
There's enough film on Andy Dalton now being on the Panthers. That these other. Oh, whatever. There's enough film of Andy Dalton being on the Panthers now to where I don't. I think that run's done.
Mm-hmm.
Not for nothing. There was enough film on Andy Dalton 8 years ago.
Yeah, but not on this team with this play.
Fair
I mean, it
enough,
happens every year. You always see some random quarterback get thrown into a situation.
Yeah, but he's playing with like garbage truck drivers.
Joe Flacco.
Yeah, because these teams they don't have any film. That's what they do. They study film. There was no film. Now there's film.
Yeah,
they're not going to win. Browns, Commanders.
Commanders. The Browns.
I'm also going Commanders.
The Browns really suck.
I just hope Deshaun Watson.
And all those years ago, us included, I know at least me and Matt said that Baker Mayfield shouldn't have gotten paid. Baker Mayfield should have gotten paid.
Yeah, he absolutely. I mean, for what it ended up turning out with the Browns, they look really stupid.
Yeah, and so do we.
Why they're dying on the hill of Deshaun Watson, I don't know.
Because they paid him, $250 million, whatever it was.
They shouldn't have given him anything near that. That's just insane.
I mean, he was a guy that looked good and then didn't play, and then they paid him when he looked good.
A dime of that.
And everything that he was accused of, I don't know. It's just it's a lot of risk for little reward. I mean, if he ended up being great, even people would still be like.
I mean, they could have realistically they could have signed Baker Mayfield and saved themselves money and had a better quarterback.
Yeah. And the draft capital that they traded and
no PR issues.
I mean, it makes me happy to see him playing like garbage. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't.
I think any normal person would agree.
Dolphins, Patriots.
After watching like 30 seconds of the Dolphins game last night, I think I got to pick the Patriots.
Who's even starting? Who's even starting for the Dolphins?
Snoop Huntley, I believe.
I believe Snoop is back. Because they're not going to admit defeat. They should have just picked up
Ryan
Tannehill. I don't know what they're doing.
They got beat, was it 35-10 or something like that?
That was the Bills.
To Tennessee? No, I think it was like same type of score, wasn't it? Or was it? I mean, even
Similar.
if it was 25-10, that's the
They just-
Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I mean the Patriots don't look good either, but I usually, the Patriots can somewhat consistently kind of score.
I mean, they lost 31-12 to the Titans. I'm going
Okay,
Patriots.
31-12. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm going
yeah.
Patriots.
Josh, you going Patriots?
Despite both of those
yeah,
teams are
yeah.
garbage.
I have no choice. I gotta go pass.
Not a game I'll watch. Colts
Nope.
Jaguars.
No. I also
Colts.
don't know if I want to watch that game. I think the Jaguars are the
I
worst team in
will be more
football.
interested in it if Joe Flacco starts because I want to see him have yet
He's
another resurgent
elite.
year. Comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I got the Colts.
I think Joey Flax can. If he play,
don't
I
care.
don't know. They might start Anthony Richardson, but even if they do, I will
I don't
take
care
him.
who starts. I don't care
Yeah.
who starts. I got
The
the
Jags
Colts.
look like a mess.
They could start freaking Joe Namath as he stands right now. I don't care.
They'll
They're
start
going to win
Jimmy
that
Carter
game.
at quarterback.
Bills
Yeah, for real.
Texans.
Frankie Valley could waltz out
Bills
his
Texans.
quarterback.
I
I got the Bills. 27-24.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be real honest, guys. I'm taking the Bills. I think the Bills are gonna probably. It'll be a tight one. I think it might come down to like a last-minute field goal or something like that. I think it'll be tight.
Got a score
think the
prediction for
Bills-
that game?
So I'm gonna go. Let's go 34-31.
Okay.
Bills.
So winning by 3, just a little bit higher than what I said.
Yes. Yes.
I'm going Bills. Oh boy.
I think Jimbo has another good game. I think Jimbo kind of bounces back from this past week's one. I think Josh throws his first pick in this game, but I think maybe CJ Stroud has an off day. Diggs, they're going to target a lot, but I think the Bills are kind of expecting that, so I think they'll be like, smothering him a bit.
It feels like one of those, if anybody knows how to stop him, it's the Bills kind of thing. But at the
Mhm.
same time, it also feels like it could be the complete opposite.
Well, that's the
And
thing.
be
Stephon
like
might know
he's
how to-
trying to have like this self-manufactured like revenge game. And he's just going to go off for 150 yards and 2 tutties.
I could certainly see Stephon Diggs really hyping this game up in his mind and like really going hard.
I think he
Like, I
might
think
be a
I-
non-factor.
I think, yeah. I also
I'm
think
going
that-
Bills 27-19. I don't think Diggs is going to have that good of a game.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Uh,
could see that too.
Ravens Bengals. Do we even have a question?
Ravens.
Yeah, Ravens.
Although those AFC North games are always super, super tight. Doesn't matter how good or how bad any of those teams are. They're super tight. They're super physical. But
I could see
I
it being an
think
upset.
the Ravens will out physical.
I mean, they're just
Cincinnati.
riding a
Cincinnati
high,
sucked.
and after watching them play, I don't even know how their record is what it is.
No.
I would just give Derrick Henry the ball. He can run all over since he's and I could see them blowing them out, to be honest.
Raiders Broncos. Real heaters this week.
So the Broncos defense looks solid. And I think as long as their defense can shut down the Raiders, which doesn't seem very hard, I think they could probably pull out another dub. So I'm going Broncos.
I think Devontae Adams has a big week because he already said he wants out, and it's going to be like one of those showcase, like, hey, I
He
want
is
out of
injured,
here.
though, isn't he?
Somebody trade for me. I think he's going to be back. They
He's
said
a little banged up.
I was reading on Sleeper earlier that he's supposed to be back this week, but he did also say that he wants or that he prefers to be traded. I think is what he said. He never like outwardly asked for a trade, but kind of like, hey, if there's something out there, let me go.
Yeah.
I like the thinking. Honestly, I think you could flip a coin. I'm going to say Broncos.
Okay.
I
Uh,
can see that. Yeah.
Cardinals Niners.
Hmm.
I have no idea who's still injured for the 49ers. No idea.
Debo's
I think I
coming
still
back,
got the
believe.
Niners. The
I'll take the
Niners, I
Niners,
think, are
too.
just the better team. The
seems
Cardinals are
like the
not
Cardinals-
as
the
bad
Cardinals
as
are
what
gonna
as
be-
thought they were going to be, but they're still not as
think they're too
good as some
inconsistent.
people are making them out to be.
And as
Um,
good as
a fine
MHJ
line
can
in
be,
there.
I think, I think the Niners defense kind of shuts them down. I think they get things done.
I'm going with Cardinals.
Ooh, okay.
I respect it.
I'm not that sold on the 49ers, not because of skill, because of injury. And I don't know who's
Mhm.
even going to be out, who's going to be in, who's going to be ready to play, who's not going to be. I'm going Cardinals.
Okay.
Hey, Robbie, when you put out the VOD for this on whatever, you should totally see if you can put in the graphics for like our picks like they do on the ESPN.
I mean, you're testing my abilities, but I'll try and
I think it would
learn.
be kind of cool. I think it would be kind of cool.
Look like a 1970s news program.
Who are we?
Yeah,
On?
see,
Giants,
Yeah.
Seahawks.
Seahawks. I think Geno has the most passing yards in the league. I think he kind of dinks and dunks them. I think DK Metcalf has a big game. I think he runs all over him.
I
I'm going
also
DK.
think that
DK 2 touchdowns over 100 yards, and Kenneth Walker could also maybe stomp them a little bit. I bet Kenny gets at least 1 touchdown. I think
Josh
it's a
is just
blowout.
tossing out these extra predictions.
I can't
But-
see the Giants doing much of anything.
I think the Seahawks feast on subpar, below average teams.
So this is a hard one for me because it's well documented that this is my second, third favorite
Yeah.
quarterback
Them are your boys.
in no particular order. I can't write him off though, so I'm going Geno Smith and the Seahawks.
Yep.
Jeez.
Danny
Danny
Dimes, he
Dimes
just
is,
hasn't been the same since that injury.
No, ever since he
No.
tripped on that breakaway.
I mean, he wasn't really the
That
same
was-
before the injury either. He kind
You
of
guys
always
don't know.
been-
You don't even know. I'm a
Yeah,
true
I mean-
Daniel Dimes fan.
Yeah, I mean, he's a top
Vanilla Vic.
34 quarterback. in
He's
the
a quarterback.
league.
He is in fact the
plays the
quarterback in the National
position.
Football League. Yes. Sometimes he completes the passes.
he is
sometimes
one of the
doesn't.
quarterbacks of all time.
He plays in the New York Giants organization.
Hey, all I'm saying is there is a possibility all of it just starts clicking and he's just a good quarterback. Those
True,
days are
true.
becoming less and less. Trust me.
They
Yeah.
they got neighbors. So I mean, you got
Who
someone
almost
to
got
throw.
hurt.
That kid's a
Yeah.
stud.
Yeah, that was scary. He was getting banged up a lot. I watched the end of that game. He was getting tossed around.
Packers Rams.
So Jordan Love had 3 picks and I think 4 touchdowns,
I'm shocked
Last
he's
week
even
with, like,
playing.
397 yards passing. I think against the Rams defense, he feasts. I am not as high on the Rams as a lot of people are. A lot of people are like, "Oh, they're going to be, right in their contention for, the NFC." It's like, I don't think they are.
They don't even have
I
their
think
best
without
player.
Don't get me wrong, but
Without Puka, I just don't think they're gonna be able to.
I
keep up.
yeah, not taking the Rams here. I can't.
I'm going Packers.
Yeah, you gotta go Packers.
Yeah, I'll go Pack. Yeah.
Go
Is it
Pack,
at
go.
Lambeau or in LA?
I don't think it matters.
That is true. I guess because even if it is in LA, it's going to be mostly Packer fans.
Yeah.
Cowboys Steelers.
Ooh.
Yeah, that
I'm
game
going-
kind of sucks, despite looking like a good game.
Off of coaching alone, I'm saying Steelers.
I'm going to say the Cowboys. I still
no,
think the Steelers are more than pretenders. I think the Steelers are garbage.
Yeah, the Steelers don't have a good offense. Najee Harris, I don't know what's up there. He does not look that great. And Justin Fields is not reliable enough to consistently score points. So yeah, I'm not going Steelers. I'm going Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Dak
sorry.
at least can drop that shite in the bucket and just, do what he's got to do. I
And
think the
then-
running game can be consistent enough to, do something. So
Yeah, I mean, sorry, TD, if you ever hear this. I know you won't, but sorry, TD, if you ever hear this. But
No,
yeah, the
yeah,
Steelers are
yeah.
garbage.
Okay.
yeah.
And last but not least, I have the Saints versus Chiefs.
If it was 2 weeks ago, I would have said the Saints.
Yeah,
But I think the
got
Chiefs are gonna
Chiefs.
eke out another one, become 5-0.
Unfortunately, I still
bet-
have the Chiefs.
My guess is Mahomes throws two touchdowns, 2 picks, 1 touchdown to Travis Kelce, and I just see the Saints. I don't know. This could be the mark that kind of makes people realize, okay, maybe they're not as good as they initially looked.
Boys, I'm
Which sucks.
saying it right now.
Is this it?
The
Is this
Chiefs,
it?
the Chiefs are running out of luck.
Oh,
All the fans are getting too suspicious with the refs. They already could have lost 2
Oh.
games. Saints are winning this game.
wow.
I would love that.
I've seen enough.
If for nothing
Kelsey's
else,
too-
it's an AFC
Kelsey's
opponent
getting too old.
losing.
It's not the same Kelsey that we've seen in the years prior.
Yeah,
Rashee
but
Rice
they're
is
not
probably going to be out.
True.
Torn
Actually,
ACL, I
I'm pretty
think.
positive they already ruled him out even before they did any of the testing. I haven't seen
Yeah.
anything since. So I'm saying this is it. Chiefs are done. They're still going to make the playoffs and probably win the Super Bowl.
they're done, as in they're going to lose one game.
But they're losing to the Saints. I mean, this is a team that should be 2-2 right now.
No,
Could be 2-2
unfortunately,
right
I
now.
gotta take the
Yeah.
Chiefs. I'm setting myself up for disappointment. I bet they go to overtime or something, and then they just win on some dinky field goal, and that's that.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I'm hedging my bets. Either they win and I'm right, or they lose and Robbie's right, but screw the Chiefs. So,
Would you rather the Chiefs lose or me be right?
I would much rather. Well, if
Because I'll
they
let
do
you know
lose,
if
we
I'm
will be
right.
That's fine. I don't care. I would much rather have you be right than me be right when me being right means the Chiefs win.
Right.
I
Like, I
hope
don't
Patrick
care
Mahomes. I hope
if-
Mahomes
if-
does like an Antonio Brown type freak out where he just takes off his uniform, pieces out, runs off the field, and just never comes back. I hope
No,
that's what happens.
I think the Chiefs are pretenders. I'm saying it. Saying it right now.
I
This
think
is
they
saying
getting
it
can
live.
bold. This
well
is getting
enough to-
awful bold.
I'm getting
here, Robbie.
bold.
They're the back-to-back champions. I don't like them, but they're not
Now, Rob,
pretenders.
here's a
They're
question.
pretenders.
I'm guessing you have this pulled up. Who do the Chiefs play next week?
Saints.
No,
No, I'm
the
saying
week after.
I know. Give me a second. Niners.
Ooh, I can see them losing 2 straight.
Then they play the
I
Raiders,
don't.
which should be a dub. Then they play the Buccaneers, which could be a loss. And then the week after they play the Broncos, and then they play the Bills. I mean, they got a Mickey Mouse schedule, I'm not going to lie.
That is the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
They play the
Which
Raiders
is weird.
twice. They play the Panthers. They play the
Which is weird.
Broncos. But, like, I don't know. I think that they're still going to make the playoffs. I don't think they're nearly as good of a team as we ever remember them being. Nor do I think that they will continue to be a team that we.
I mean, they find ways to win ball games. I don't care if
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
with
gotta-
a little bit of help or
Yeah.
if it's. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're finding a way to win ball games, and that's all that matters. Is
no. I
Doesn't
think the
matter
NFL.
how you
I
win,
think the
it's
taste of
that you
NFL
win.
fans has turned sour. I don't think they're any longer getting the hype from Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I think the NFL will open their eyes to this and they'll stop getting these calls. And I think
Well,
we're going to
yeah.
witness the Chiefs' downfall.
Is this the
I
end
would-
of the
I would
Chiefs
love it.
dynasty?
I see from the AFC either the
It is
Ravens,
week 4,
Bills.
and they are 4-0. That is not.
They
the fall of the Chiefs
they could be
dynasty.
2-2,
They could be. I don't care.
I think.
and they have a
literally,
Mickey Mouse schedule.
Pacheco doesn't come back for a while. The Chiefs go to the playoffs, and then they get curb stomped in game 1, and they just that's it. That's the end of the Kansas.
Yeah.
City.
And I
I
think
don't
that
want
you're
their
also
crap
forgetting
team.
here
A
that
whole
Travis Kelce
fire
is
immediately.
34 or 35 years old.
Taylor Swift convinces Travis Kelce to retire after the season.
And
Yeah.
their best receiver's out.
True.
I mean, they might be starting
True.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
I mean, the way I
Drew doesn't
see
have a
it,
touchdown.
Mahomes could throw to a friggin' school janitor and still throw for 400 yards in the game
No.
if he wanted to. Yes.
Mahomes has not been a deep ball threat.
Can I
wouldn't
just
say
put it
he's
this
a
way?
dink and dunk guy.
They've
Dink
won
and dunk.
4 one-score games against the Chargers, Falcons, Bengals, and Ravens. And the
Yeah,
Ravens
which-
were 1 inch away from winning that game.
Yeah.
Logic says that's unsustainable just because.
So that they should
you're not
honestly
gonna win
they could
every
be-
1-score game.
a 0-4 team if one play in each of these
Honestly,
games
yeah.
went a different way.
Or at least
I
one
think that
drive,
this is
like,
the most overrated team in the NFL right now.
Wow. Bold prediction.
I got a clip
By
for it.
Raiden.
Yeah, he's got a clip farm so that people come watch this.
But this is my genuine take.
The Kansas City Chiefs.
yeah.
Now,
Blasphemous.
Let's not flash back because
Blasphemous.
one of the last takes that I had before we stopped doing the podcast before was that Patrick Mahomes would never win another Super Bowl. And he has won 2 of them
we
since.
jinxed it.
Or 2 more.
You
whatever.
jinxed it,
So-
you monster. Though,
Yeah.
jeez, is what I say to that.
We should start thinking about kind of wrapping this up a little bit. I don't know what you guys are at. I'm at 119 on my recording. I'm
Boys,
hoping
we're
you
going
guys
for
are
2
about
more
that
hours.
Same.
We're going to
about that
analyze
same
every
time.
single fantasy performance by every single player. We're going to go over this in depth, live.
No, I
Please
think
tell me you're at around 1 hour 19 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is where we end it.
All right.
And
Well,
if
I
anybody's
have
still
to bring
listening,
up-
make
Okay,
sure you try and lobby Matt in any comment section to get me a compensatory pick next year because my teams in fantasy are always hurt, and he's
Oh,
colluding
come on.
Hey,
with
now listen.
the fantasy champion 4 times in a row, mind you. That's suspicious.
Why? What is this? Whatever do you mean, Rob?
That I'm now losing to a player or to my co-host here. Actually, I won't name names, but he has 4 quarterbacks on his roster. Has
Josh,
beaten
It's all
me
working out.
I'll name
because my
names.
team
Man,
is
see,
that
listen,
injured
I
and
beat
is
you
that
soundly.
injured
I
every
beat you
single
soundly,
year.
Rob. Nah.
Josh, my team
I
put up
beat you soundly.
130 or 120 or something with 0 points from Kyle Pitts and Rashi Rice.
Well, that's a shame. That's a shame, isn't it? Listen, I did have Mahomes starting. I will admit, Mahomes had 13 points, not good, but I had CeeDee Lamb with 23 points. I had Mike Evans who had a monster
Josh,
game.
all I'm saying
Pickens,
is
6
if your
points. The
team
Niners defense, best
if your
defense in the
team
league.
had the injuries my team had,
I do.
you do not.
As a matter of fact, okay, I don't, but still, that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is, Rob,
And this happens every year.
much like the
I
Kansas
had
City
Nick Chubb
Chiefs,
last year.
much
He was
like
my
the Kansas City
first
Chiefs,
round draft pick.
people
I
find
think that
ways to
Matt
win.
should just feel bad enough for me that he should give me a compensatory.
This happens every year. Oh,
This does
Caleb
happen
got
every
too
year.
many running backs. I can't pick up a running back because Caleb has 4.
All
I
I'm
can
saying
say
is,
that.
Matt, is who has been to the championship game? Who has lost to this
I was
player?
our first year.
Who scored
Who?
160
Can
points
we
last
check that?
year, and who
Can we
lost
check
by
who's won
less
in the
than 1 point
championship?
last year?
Since we flipped over to Sleeper, I think it was
It's been me, Matt, and Alec.
Yeah, I
Well.
was in it the first year that we played over on NFL Fantasy app. I got murdered, but regardless,
No, it's been Alec and me. I honestly don't know who.
yeah. No, I think we made the switch to Sleeper 2 years ago. But regardless, we got to start wrapping this up a little bit. I do have to bring up Pete Rose passing away.
Yes.
Yeah, that was surprising.
That's just a huge thing. I mean, we're a huge baseball family. I mean, that was a shock. I mean,
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
Does anybody know how, what exactly happened? Because there are pictures of
I
him
don't
at
know.
an autograph signing.
He was at an autograph show, I think Sunday or it might have been yesterday morning. And then Eduardo Perez was on ESPN talking. He's like, hey, Pete Rose died. Just kind of like, wow. Like we were sitting here playing Warzone last night and I looked at my phone and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no, that's out of the blue. And I feel like because of the whole controversy around the gambling thing, people don't acknowledge how insane of a player he was.
I mean, and that's the thing.
No,
he was 83 years old, and he's been held out of the Hall of Fame for how long now? Just off of
a long time.
Too long.
Not something that I agree with, but I mean,
and he's not just like
there's guys in the Hall of Fame that shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. And then you have Pete Rose, who is not even a question, should be in there.
Pete Rose is a top 5 player of all time. Yeah, all-time hits leader. He's really high up on all-time WAR. He played over, I think I saw a stat earlier. He played 500 or more games at like 6 different positions. He was an all-star at 5 different positions. Like, this guy was on one of the best teams of all time because of him.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Red Machine, I mean, I hear stories that, like, my uncle, huge baseball fan, tell me about, like, those teams, and it's, like, it's nuts. That team was insane. But, I mean, the dude deserved to go in. I don't care about the gambling stuff, whatever.
Well, that's what really aggravates me, is sports is such a gambling-driven business. It's such a gambling-driven business. It's
the league,
they make a lot of their money.
Essentially, openly let their players use steroids for years.
Yeah,
that's much more.
If they didn't know, they were the only people that didn't know that they had a steroid problem. Like, and they're the ones saying that he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing too. Is like, my dad and I just had a conversation before we came in here to record. We were watching the Mets Brewers game, and we were just talking about, like, because Bud Selig was the commissioner when all this happened and all that, and I'll never let him in. Bud Selig was doing things that were worse for baseball than Pete Rose ever could.
Yeah.
Bud Selig was the owner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Okay, they were in the American League East with the Yankees and the Red Sox. Okay, he goes to be the commissioner. His daughter still runs the team. He moves them from the American League East to the National League Central, a garbage division. They win games.
Yeah.
Like, that he himself did things worse for baseball than Pete Rose ever did. Like, I get it, whatever, the gambling, can't be doing that. You can't be gambling on your own games. But like, I don't think he ever gambled for them to lose. It's not like he threw games. But
I
it's the
mean, with a
same
player
thing.
like that, with how good of a career he had, how could you say that he was?
Well, a lot of it was when he was a coach. A lot of the gambling was, which obviously
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
worse position because, like, yes, as a player you can affect your
Yeah, but
part
he
of
has
it.
control
As a
over like the
coach, you could
lineups and
control the
everything.
entire thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
same thing with the
That does
1919 White
not
Sox.
that does not overshadow his accomplishments as a player at all.
Like, Shoeless Joe Jackson should be in the Hall of Fame too. He had a phenomenal career, but because of the 1919 scandal, or 1918, whatever it was, the gambling scandal, of which they did actually gamble on themselves to lose and through the game. So that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But still, something like that shouldn't affect you getting into the Hall of Fame or not.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Pete Rose is it always felt like every year he had the last laugh because yes, he wasn't in Cooperstown as, inductee, but he was always down there signing autographs at this little shop he had in downtown Cooperstown that he would draw more people in than the induction would.
Yeah. I mean, he's the name himself. Like, it's an iconic name,
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's
I mean,
extremely unfortunate news. It's
we
definitely
obviously never got to watch him play, but like when I was in Little League, I remember Chase's dad was the coach. He wanted to be the Reds because he was a big fan of the Big Red Machine. So when we were picking numbers, I picked 14 because of Pete Rose. Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
nothing of our games was similar. I mean, I was a 11-year-old fat kid, and he was, one of the best players of all time.
I could see
Man, if I
hints
could
of
pick
Pete
anybody,
Rose.
But
I was gonna say if I could pick anybody to perhaps portray Pete Rose in a documentary or a biography or whatever, I think it'd be you. I think you would be identical to
yeah,
Pete Rose.
maybe Babe Ruth.
And
But regardless, like this, the guy still had that kind of effect on me despite never seeing him play, just seeing like clips on YouTube.
well, it's the legend of him. It's like Babe Ruth. Like, we've never seen Babe Ruth play. It's like Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
Why our Lord and Savior Derek Jeter. Someday people are gonna be talking about
No.
Derek Jeter. They'll be like, "Wow,
One of the statistically.
Dad, what was it like watching Derek Jeter play
Feel like
baseball?"
it was
And I was like,
awful.
"Son, sit
Yeah.
on my knee. Let
We
me
would have
tell you
just
the story
traded him.
of
We would
the
have had 3 more
1999
rings.
World Series."
Let me tell
Why
you
the
about this
Yankees?
time he caught the ball at the foul line and decided to run all the way into the stands and flop like a little.
If we would have traded for a league average shortstop, we would have won 3 more rings.
You remember when Derek Jeter he caught the ball and he flew in the crowd, or that time he was running down the foul line and he flipped the ball to the catcher and he was out at the plate? Or the time
He
where
threw out
hit
Jason
a home
Giambi,
run
who
for
runs
3,000
like
hit.
a freaking
3,000 history with an exclamation point. It's like, wow, Derek Jeter, what a guy! And then he had a walk-off single in his last at bat at home. I remember that. That was crazy, guys.
I've
You know
seen
who
better.
didn't do that? You know who didn't do that? David Ortiz. You know who got shot? David Ortiz. And on that note, guys,
I
I
don't
think
see
it's
how
about
that's
time.
relevant, but
I think it's about
regardless,
time to wrap this up. It's been a hell of a good podcast, guys.
We've gone off the rails here, but rest in peace, Pete Rose. I hope
Yes, of
he
course.
gets in. So I hope he gets in this year or next year as like I don't know if they do like pioneers of baseball or whatever, but he should go in.
Do you think this is going to be the
A lot of
initiative
people are
that
going
they
to be
take to
pissed
do it?
that it took this long to do it.
I don't
but
think
he
they
should go in.
I don't think that they should put him out. Because if they put him in
I mean, at
now,
this
it shows
point-
how big of a joke that it is.
Exactly.
He
Well,
also
yeah,
had
That they
a
waited for him to
lifetime
die.
ban.
They literally
proved
waited
them
for the
wrong.
man to die, put him into the Hall of
Yeah.
Fame.
Yep.
I wouldn't put it past him at all. I mean, the writers that vote are idiots. The actual commissioner is an idiot. The people that run it are stupid. Like the whole kit and caboodle is just a joke. So it would not surprise me. Plus, like I said, it's a lifetime ban, is what they said. So now that his
It's
life
just
is
that's
over,
such a
technically the ban should also be over.
Yeah, it's
He
an
deserves
that
to go to the
absolute
Hall
is
of
a
joke.
good
Fame.
point. That's a
It's
good
absolute
point, Matt.
joke.
Technically,
But
the terms have ended, and now the
Yeah.
writers are free to do it. And I
But
think
this
they
has
should.
been a joke from the
How could they
beginning.
not?
Like I said, he should be in. He should have been in 40 years ago.
If
Barry
David
Bonds should
Ortiz
be
can
in
get
because I don't care. Barry Bonds had like 30 seasons before he even thought about taking steroids. The dude was on track to be one of the best baseball players ever.
not only that, I think taking
And-
steroids is far more egregious than betting on games.
Yes, but also in that era, everybody was taking steroids.
Yeah,
So to
yeah.
take steroids, you were just on an even playing field.
Even the guys
Like-
you weren't thinking were taking steroids are almost definitely taking some type of steroid
Yes.
at some point.
Yes, half the league was taking steroids at that point. So if you were a batter going up against a pitcher who's taking steroids and he's pumping 98 in there, just pounding you in, and you can't do anything about it. Like whatever. Steroids are what they are. Yeah, they're not good for you. You shouldn't do them. But like Robbie said, Major League Baseball knew that these guys were doing steroids and did nothing about it until that report came out and they went, "Hey, this kind of looks bad for us."
Yeah.
So then they decided to do something about it. And now all of a sudden it's taboo. Oh, steroids, whatever. I mean, it's stupid. I mean, Sammy
Yeah.
Sosa should be in the Hall of Fame for what it's worth.
Right.
Rafael Palmeiro should be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's a bunch of guys from the steroid era.
I mean, if you're
Roger
gonna put
Clemens,
Derek Jeter in
like-
there, I mean, come on now.
But Rob, the moments,
Hey,
the moments.
Here's my thing, okay? And you
If
guys
he
don't
played,
know,
if that man played for the Milwaukee Brewers, if he played for the Reds, if he
you
played
need
for
Paul
the
Molitor. It would just be
Indians,
Paul Molitor.
if he played for any of these other franchises, that man would have had a 10-year career and we never would have heard about him.
Like,
All I can say is
whatever.
if David
I don't know
Ortiz
off the
had
top of my
played
head, but
for the New York Yankees, he would have been shot way quicker.
yeah, that's fine. But Robbie, look up comparatively Paul Molitor to Derek Jeter. I can't tell you off the top of my head if it's actually that or if it's just kind of a misremembering thing. But I feel like Paul Molitor probably had a better batting average. He was a better fielder, but he played for the Milwaukee Brewers. Nobody cared.
Well, yeah, if you win, people are going to give you more of a, an up than you were if you're on a winless team or a team that just didn't win very often. And when you have the moments, which, yeah, that's a cliche, but when you have the moments and people remember you, it's the Hall of Fame. Like he was the most famous sports person in New York for the better part of 20 years. So that's just how it's going to be sometimes.
I would take a healthy Miguel Tejada over him.
So Paul Molitor had more RBIs, more hits, more doubles, more triples, more walks, and more stolen bases.
But how many rings?
It doesn't
He didn't
matter.
play
We're
for the
talking
New York
individual
Infinite
players.
Money
But it-
Yankees.
Yeah.
But it do matter.
It
Unfortunately,
doesn't though. In
in the
this
grand scheme-
situation, it does not
what
matter.
I'm saying.
Who did he
when
play
you
with?
Win all these rings. When you win all as many rings as Derek Jeter did, and you had the moments.
Josh,
moments.
if you would have had Paul Molitor, you would have won the same amount of rings. Is what we're trying to tell
Oh
you.
yeah, absolutely. But they
Yeah.
didn't. And he was there, and he did the things, and all the people were like, "Oh, Derek Jeter," and that's what happened. And
So you
Yeah,
agree
yeah,
that
you're
Derek Jeter's
making our point.
overrated?
You're
Oh, yeah, no,
making
no,
our
he-
point
he's
that if
not-
you
he's
switch
not.
out Derek Jeter for Paul Molitor, they win the same amount of rings,
he
if
has a
not more.
shitload of hits. He has a lot of hits, and he has a good amount of. He has a lot of rings, obviously. But I think in the end, that's.
Well, Paul Molitor has
defensively-
more.
No, eventually he's just an average.
I had never heard
shortstop,
of Paul
but
Molitor before 2 minutes ago.
I think a big thing with Jeets though is he was consistently just solid, but he had all those moments, and
But he
had
wasn't
so many-
consistently solid. He was consistently below average for the shortstop position.
defensively, maybe offensively, he was pretty much a 250 to 300 hitter. The majority of the years until like towards the end, when the last couple of years he was either hurt or he just was batting like 225.
I would take A-Rod at shortstop over Jeter.
I think anybody would.
I'm
But unless
making
you're
my
like
point.
unless you're a giant anti-steroid man, which I mean, to be fair, I don't know how long A-Rod was doing steroids, but A-Rod was a god among third basemen. Like you definitely put him top 10 like third baseman all time. Cheats, I don't know if you put him top 10 shortstops all time, in all honesty, but just for
I wouldn't put him
the
in top
reasons as
shortstops of
Pierre
all time.
stated.
No.
No, probably not.
I'm also here's the thing,
Offensively, he
I'm
wasn't
biased.
bad. I'm not going to say he wasn't an above average offensive player, but could have easily just have got a decent shortstop and either played him somewhere else or got somebody that was a better fielder and just as good of a hitter.
Derek
Yeah.
Jeter.
Here's the thing. To make my final point of all of this, and I am a gigantic. You guys both know this. I am a gigantic David Ortiz fan.
Ugh.
If David Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame, Barry Bonds, Rafael Palmeiro, and the lot need to all be in the Hall of Fame as well.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Like that's my
mean,
that's my
that's
final
standard.
point of this episode.
And
I
on
think, is
that note, boys, we are done.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We'll see you next week for another
Oh,
episode.
wow.
As long as nothing goes
Whoa.
wrong, we're
As long as nothing goes wrong. That is
that
correct.
tends to happen
We'll be
with
back
us.
next week.
recording actually shut off half an hour ago. He didn't catch any of this.
We'll be
No,
back
I'm
with
still
the
going. I'm at
Uncast
hour and
next week.
34 minutes.
The Unk Pass. The Buffalo Bills defeat the Houston Texans 34-31. Book it. Send it. Josh Allen hurdles somebody again. Stephon Diggs quits mid-game. The end.
What is up with you going AB on all this?
All
I
right,
just wanna see it
I
happen
stopped
really
my
bad.
record.
All right, yep. Hour 34 minutes 45 seconds is what I'm
Oh
at.
my.
Oh, same.
Yeah, Sam. Oh, Sam.
Thank Christ.
Export audio. Josh Shout won again is the title. And then it's gonna export. And then I'm gonna send it to Raby. And I'm gonna go take a shower and eat and go to bed because
You didn't shower yet?
dude, I just got home at like
That's big tough.
6:30. Yeah. I got home. And then I talked to my mom. And then I came up here. And that's it. We've been at this for over 2 hours now.
Yeah, we
Beginning
have.
when I joined the
Stream's
Discord.
been live for 2 hours 1 minute.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we went for a while on this.
Yeah, just like last week.
And I'm gonna listen back to just like a random spot in this to make sure it doesn't sound like crap. I know it's too late now, but
All right, so now I gotta go to Gmail. And then I gotta pull up Raby.
all right, I think it sounds good. I'm gonna send that
Shout
over to Robbie.
Let me make sure mine sounds good. Why is it playing out of my computer? I don't know, but it sounds fine. So we're gonna close that.
Just dumped water all over myself.
Dodgies. Why did it not save? Oh, I exported it. That's why. Okay, so we're gonna do shout one Josh.
Compose R cut cliff 1 2 3. Shout from the tabletops. Epi.
God, my
one
prayers have been answered.
for real
Epi
this
pen.
time.
Activate these fucking double XP tokens.
Get them double XP tokens rocking, big man.
I will, but I gotta do it after this match because unfortunately I'm loading into a ranked one.
I don't even have the thing up.
Yeah, no, this definitely felt better.
Trying to help Nicky
than
New
last
Year
week.
get
I
Mm,
can actually hear you guys. So that's
I'll
nice.
rank up.
yeah.
So he could play with us too. He's
But
silver
I
one,
think-
silver
Yeah,
two.
honestly, I do like the video format of this too.
Oh, I completely forgot we were doing that. Yeah, I'll do mine next week.
Nick,
Once I
check
have,
the
like,
stream.
A nice background.
Why?
Well, that
Gander.
makes me want to check the stream. Oh, is that Matthew?
Are you
Yikes.
talking to them?
All
at
right,
the
I'm gonna go
same time
take
you're
care
talking?
of the things I have to go.
I
take
am
care of.
talking to both of you at the same time.
Well,
don't know if
tell
they
him
can
to
hear
get the
me.
fuck on.
I can't hear.
Oh
Matt.
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, there's Matt.
Oh, they still
I-
can't
I-
hear me.
Why
Yes.
is Matt
Who you
not
talking to,
playing?
Nick?
Still here.
Talking to Nick and Alec in an Xbox party.
Oh
Yeah.
Have him join the Xbox.
yeah, no,
bro.
I
Nick
Tell
says
him
to
that
join the
welcome
Xbox
to the
party.
okay.
I said okay, begrudgingly.
I'm gonna leave this
start
Discord.
Okay. Yeah, he gets all
Bye,
upset
Josh.
about it.
Love you.
Bye.
Good talk.
Oh, okay.
Do you know they've
Say it
been
back.
saying the name of that cookie wrong the whole time? The double chocolate chip cookie or whatever the fuck they call it.
How is
All right,
this-
you-
Xbox party.
Apparently
Xbox
it's like a
party. How do
double
I join
chocolate
Xbox
chunk
party?
chip cookie or something. It's not what they said it was. Someone like videoed the
I can
sign
close out
at
of
the
this. Now. I'm
Costco.
gonna leave the stream thing. Actually, no, I don't have to. So.
I'll keep you up, Matt.
Yeah. Screw it. Alright, can Alec and them hear me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, what is that?
I gotta
Yeah,
mute him.
your audio does sound weird.
Oh, he's talking on like a mic. Oh, what do I do?
Plus these Xbox parties sound like crap when you're talking on a real mic.
Oh yeah, you do. You sounded way better
Yeah,
on
you
this
sound-
street thing.
Yeah, you sound horrendous. You're like a D1 crash out.
All right, I'm hiding you on stream, Matt.
That's fine. I'm hopping out of that. I'm gonna probably go to bed pretty soon here, so I'll see you boys.
Adios.
Alright.
You sound like you're talking through a fucking plane, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's like, break a
Wait, hold on. It might be connected to my AirPods again. That's probably
Yeah,
why.
it definitely is. That's what it sounds like.
Okay, I don't even know how to change that, but whatever. So,
Adios.
Why did he even join?
His Nick told him to.
Oh, Nick, you got so much sway.
That whole power.
You should vote for the
Is
president.
Josh joining or no?
Nah, he's going to bed.
Got these early bedtimes.
Not even 9:30 yet.
Tasty lag.
How was this episode compared to last week's?
Compared to last week's, much better. Well, last week's was honestly, in my opinion, more entertaining, but the quality of it was all.
Okay, well this could just fucking play as weird. Oh man.
I like that. I like that we figured out a way to get eventually all three. Josh didn't want to. What rank are you, Alec?
Me?
Yeah.
Platinum 2?
Dang, you're catching up.
Oh, yep, except I'm not gonna be ever catching up if I keep making stupid plays like this where I just break my fucking knees on my teammate dies. Okay, cool. I get 0 footsteps ever in this game, apparently. I have to have my fucking volume turned up all the fucking way so my ears are getting blasted with gun sounds.
Dude, I'd be
Like I'm
getting
living in-
tinnitus from this game.
Fucking Chirac out here. Got fucking gunshots in my ears ringing.
And then I play Vondel, and all I can hear is footsteps in every building around me, and then some kid will run right up behind me, and I won't hear him at all.
Caleb is playing right now.
I don't know if he's actually playing. He's
Corner
downloading
Cactus
it.
Playing Resurgence on Fortune's Keep is literally what it's telling me.
Oh. Very interesting. I knew he had it downloaded, or he was downloading it.
What a coincidence.
Do I not have him as an Activision friend?
He's not even on the Xbox network anymore. Seen 10 minutes ago on home, so. He might not be on. It might just be.
He sent a picture in that group chat. I'm downloading it.
To play some Michael Myers, I'm assuming.
What's up?
Are you playing Michael Myers soon?
I would be down to play it this weekend. Saturday, maybe? I feel like that's the only time we could get like TD and maybe Caleb if he wants to do it.
Right.
We can actually like grind ranks now. It's just nice.
Do what now?
I said we can actually like grind ranks now. Well, kind of.
Yeah, I agree. Grind as much as we can without getting, frustrated. My teammates were pretty bad.
How's crafting,
Ah.
man?
Good.
I made the fission reactor. I didn't put it together though.
Enemy soldier incoming. Enemies dropping into the AO. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Enemies dropping into the AO. Prep time's over. Now you deploy to the war zone.
Where are we dropping, bud?
Oh, what do you think there, guy? I gotta put my duck suit on after this.
Surgeon. Survive and your
Is
team can redeploy. Eliminate targets to bring them
took that
back
out.
faster. Mark a drop point for your squad and lead them in. Alright, we got you started. You finished the job. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Right here. Will it not let me? Oh, it auto marked. Or it did mark.
Stay alive to bring them back.
So there's apparently 17 people on the ground with
Be
pistols.
advised, there's an
See
enemy
ya.
squad gunning for you.
I dropped on that, and like a gang of fucking circus clowns jumped out at me.
yep.
That guy.
Two circus clowns
Actually.
actually just jumped on me.
Buddy's skedaddled.
Time for vengeance. You're redeploying.
Oh, game, how did you know I wanted a sniper? And not only a sniper, I wanted the worst sniper in the game.
Oh, there's men at this building though.
There's a guy in, I think, this building as well. Or at least there was. I don't know where he went, but. Well, that dude got sat down.
Kid on our building now.
You got reinforcements inbound.
Hostile airstrike near your location.
Enemies dropping into the AO.
Enemy precision airstrike.
Stuff.
Stuff's, his teammates in the other building. Dude, I literally got knocked by a grenade as I was falling out of the window.
Ground.
That's cash money.
Down to you, soldier. Stay sharp.
It was a full team in that building as well. Damn.
Yeah, these hands are cold.
Kill 'em all. Failure ain't fatal. It's just an opportunity to do better.
Minor, I just suck.
Check your weapons, check your gear. We're holding for deployment. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Enemy soldier incoming. Enemies dropping into the AO.
What are you hung about?
Enemy soldier incoming.
Playing with my cat. Just pushing her. Just like, man. She little bitch.
Big cat.
But I am a massive cat guy, yeah, dude.
I don't like cats. Cats like me.
All stations,
Yeah, I
green
love my
light. We
cats,
are
man.
deploying to the war zone.
Definitely. Like, I gotta say this to the day I die. This little cat was the best 10 hours I've ever spent in my life.
Kitty cat.
Get the cat. Yes.
I wonder if TD found that respect song.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T?
No.
Resurgence.
He said,
Stay alive to keep your squad in the
Respect.
fight.
Respect.
Alright, soldier, mark a top point for your squad. Go get him.
Some chant that they used to make us sing in elementary school.
Move in.
fuck. Sounds like some holy
Enemies
shit.
are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Guy's broke.
Dude. Wait, one of them games, huh?
Get ready. You're redeploying.
You really think you're gonna get that cell phone from my friend?
Your squad mate's back on station. Good work.
Hostile counter UAV overhead.
He's selfing. Oh, it's not even our team.
You
It's
got
1,000 kids here, apparently.
good kill.
Alright, I got the TikTok LMG.
Go get hunting. Enemy soldier incoming.
Me too.
Friendly precision airstrike inbound.
Going down, going up on the top of the roof. I don't know exactly where, but okay.
This kid's a bullet.
Oh, we're playing. There's 2 other people on here with Twitch internet.
Resurging.
Yes,
Go
we
get
are.
your revenge.
Almost a cool thing that you did, that
Be
kid.
advised, an enemy squad is tracking your location.
I saw the signs. I opened up my eyes. I saw the signs. Why am I lagging so damn bad? What is happening here, bowl?
Secure the supply boxes. Locations are marked on your TAC map.
Enemies deployed a counter UAV.
1 supply box down. 2 remain.
Hostile counter UAV overhead.
Gas is closing in. 2 supply boxes secured. 1 remaining. Contract complete. All supply boxes secured.
My money is on the buy.
Yes, sir. Oh, well, that dude already
We
bought
got a
one.
loadout drop inbound. Your squad made it to the safe zone. One requesting recon at this time.
I'm going to dance. Bring it for this kid.
Moving to my mark.
Yeah.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies. Throwing thermite. The enemy lost track of you. Good work down there. Taking fire.
There's still kids in our building.
I'm getting shot from green building over by town. And now from that tower.
How is there still people in this building, dude? I just
I think
got
they might have
fucking
ran
UAV.
over. I don't know. I don't know how they got there, actually. I don't know if they landed there or what.
Let's regroup and get back up there, yep.
What's going on? Get angry, man.
You boys win any
Good guy,
earlier?
you know what I'm saying? I won one with TD really early. Like fucking.
We got one.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that.
That was like 45 minutes ago.
Dang.
Maybe an hour.
Like, what should we do with all this silicon dioxide? Can I throw it off the map?
Maybe eventually, but needed.
Because I don't know if you noticed, but there's a chest up above, like where we started, like our starting area. The wooden chest that has like the iron stuff on it. That is like full of silicon dioxide.
Did not see that.
If too much, it takes up too much space. It's all up in my face. The tickle monster there.
Oh man, my cat. She's like I'm eating ice cream. And she's like standing in my face, fucking yelling and like swiping at it. I'm like, leave me alone.
And ice cream.
It's so I'm lactose, so we found these ice cream bars that are like strawberry.
Use this
They
time
come
for
in
some target
different ones.
practice.
These are like the strawberry
things
crunch
coming
bar
soon.
things, but it's non-dairy, so I can eat them. And it won't make me poo-poo my pants.
Not a big dairy guy. Interesting. Very interesting.
Give me 1 second.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Dude, why won't anybody just square up with me in the pregame? I'm trying to get these hands warm. Dude, I could go for like a smoothie right now.
A smoothie? What
Yeah.
kind of smoothie?
I don't know. Something with strawberries.
Loki, I hate strawberry flavored things usually. Those ice cream bars are about as strawberry as I can get, man.
A strawberry banana, perchance.
Ah,
Enemies dropping into the AO.
Don't touch my team.
Something with mangoes in it, maybe.
I don't like mangoes either, actually.
Dude, what are you, Matt?
No, I like strawberries. I don't like mango. I like strawberries and bananas, like when they're a fruit.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Not smoothified.
Playtime's over. Stand by for
Unbelievable.
deployment to war zone.
Yeah, mangoes are hit or miss. Apparently mangoes are supposed to make you like more, you know, up in the air when you smoke the devil's lettuce. Never tried it though, because I ain't a mango fan.
Resurgence.
Let's hit this
Survive
LZ
to
first.
report fallen
Bate,
teammates.
chocolate latte.
Kill to bring them back faster.
Why is my thing not letting me mark? What is happening? Oh, it did. What's happening?
Enemies dropping into the AO.
We just saved that dude.
Seeing a swarm of spy drones down there. Clean them up.
On the move, I got this TikTok LMG.
They got this.
Enemies deployed a counter UAV.
Dude, my teammates are in this building. How the fuck did you even get in here? There's a kid on the roof. He's jumping down towards you. He's coming to your door.
Your squad mate's back on station. Good work.
I'm gonna fuck this kid up.
Stairs almost saved you, but you'll need stronger ones next time.
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Bro, keep the landed right here.
All drones neutralized. That's what I like to see.
Taking fire.
Oh no.
Got movement here. Enemy marked.
Hostile
I'll
counter UAV overhead.
Dude, how are you hitting me? There's literally an entire metal building in between me and you. This kid might be hacking.
I haven't seen. what
Dude,
it
no,
looks
I'm
like.
getting shot at through concrete and metal
Need a
buildings.
breather. I'm hurt.
Yeah, that might be a
Thermite
problem.
incoming.
I don't even know like where he was shooting at you from.
Oh no, he is hacking.
Cool. Where was he at?
He's by my body. He's I'm like 99% positive he's hacking.
You're back on station. Go get after it.
I think that's him crossing the street into this building right now. Staying up on the roof. I'm gonna cheese this kid. I ain't fighting this kid. He's literally hacking.
Yeah. I don't know about that one.
All squad members are in the safe zone.
Waiting for him to run up these stairs, and then I'll try and deal with him. Are you all hacking? Is your entire team hacking?
Dude, I'm reporting those kids.
We'll get those some bitches next time.
Well, that's kind of unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate, actually.
The fusion controller is up.
Nice. Did I leave that fission stuff in the chest?
Yeah, I used a lot of the casing.
Wow.
It's like 2 more stacks. So.
You maybe put it together?
Yeah, a little bit.
Tried reading the book, but I couldn't scroll down.
What?
There's a book for this thing we didn't build, and I like tried reading it, but I got to the second page, I couldn't scroll down.
It did look a bit cut off, but I don't know how important it was. Though.
Oh, I made an Aldemadium by the way.
Hell yeah. Getting there.
Gear up fast. We're about to get evil. Enemy soldier incoming. Enemies dropping into the AO. Enemy soldier incoming. All stations, we are green to go. Stand by for deployment.
Do you like cider, Alec?
Apple cider?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love apple cider, dude. Apple cider's delicious. You ever had caramel flavored apple cider?
I have not.
Oh, that shit is delicious, man.
Muy delicioso?
Yeah, usually not. Like,
Survive and your team
massive
can
caramel
redeploy.
person.
Eliminate targets to bring them back faster.
It's very
Your team leader.
It's in the caramel
Set a
apple,
drop
which
point
I
for your
really
squad,
like.
soldier.
Nick, what about you?
Apple good.
Enemies
Caramel
are dropping
apple or
into the
vodka?
area. Watch the skies.
I like cider.
Oh yeah. Big cider, big like cidery guy and the beers and stuff. But I also like maple cider.
Funny how that works, ain't it?
Enemies deployed a counter UAV.
Your squad
Take that
mates
kill, too.
redeploying. Well done.
Planting mine.
Oh no, I'm dead. Doors and windows, first me in this game is still undefeated.
Dude, I am fucking lagging like a motherfucker right now.
We are returning you to the front. Earn this.
Dude, I start
Oh!
getting hit markers first, and I still die. Like, what is he using?
Target down. Marking the rest of them.
Israel, there's a guy up on top.
Your squad mates back on station. Good work.
Or at least there was. You're trash, kid.
Drop them.
Oh, one's
Squad mates redeploying. Well done.
on me. What is that skin, dude?
Hostile counter UAV overhead.
Yeah, dude, apparently these kids are just them.
I didn't hear this good. And also, my
Yeah,
first
for a
3 bullets
second.
didn't register.
Gas is moving. You're getting another chance. Make it count. Enemies dropping into the AO.
Kid landing next to you.
Oh, over here.
In the AO.
You got reinforcements inbound.
I'm assuming.
Enemies deployed a counter UAV.
All right, your squad's in the safe zone.
Do you know how to get in that bunker below you?
No.
Or below blue? Need to. I've seen people get in it, but I've never.
Away. Kill confirmed, and we look. Marked remaining operators from that squad. Hunt them down. Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
Hostile Guardian has been deployed.
There's someone up for this.
Dang it.
Hurt.
5 seconds.
Yes, I'm trying to go to loadout.
Shit, I didn't even notice we had a fucking loadout.
Stand by for redeployment.
There's kids
Oh,
down
wow.
there.
Yup,
You're the
and I
last one
got
standing,
killed.
soldier.
This-
Survive until your squad gets redeployed. The enemy took that one.
Dude,
Won't
what?
get 'em back.
Yeah, sniped.
That's funny. It's just like these kids don't fucking miss, dude. Four. Call William Matar.
Oh my goodness. Alright. Now I'm gonna work on all the Modium Star, which is like the very end game item. The one that you
Yes.
view off the top. That shit is so expensive.
How do you even make it?
Oh my goodness. So, to get it, I can't even tell. You're gonna have to help me with this.
Are we even
This is-
at
this-
that point?
I thought we could at least. I don't know. I'm gonna see which piece I can even like start making. So we need a red matter, which we're not even close. We need a Nexium emitter, which I'm gonna start building, but it's like a Nexium emitter is like 12 plus items to build it. That I also don't know if we have that shit. We need a Dragon Soul, a Dimensional Seed, a Wither's Compass, a Pulsating
Check your
Black
gear and
Hole,
weapons. We'll be deploying shortly.
Philosopher's Field, Improbable Probability Device, and an Oblivion Shard. And it has to be in range of the Warden.
In range of what?
Of the Warden, the dude we were fighting on that
Oh no.
island. We have to do this all while like he's just like standing right there. We need 3 blocks of it.
Oh my.
But I mean, we can just, that's the quick part, but it's more getting every other fucking block first. So I'm just starting on one piece, and that's it. And then we can You're, what the fuck is that? What are we doing? I need this end exchanger, but I have to get the netherite, and then the amethyst, the obsidian, the emerald, the diamond, the gold, and the stone, and the wooden version of it first.
Oh my.
And this is just a piece for not even one of those pieces.
Is it a piece to make a piece?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Enemies
Exactly.
are dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
I think it's going to be a lot of ender pearls. But we have to start. I have the wooden one. Can we go to the stone one? No, not yet. We need those red dye. What can give us red dye?
Dude, I
Oh,
think I could drink a
dark dye.
gallon of apple cider a day.
I could.
All
I'd have to
stations,
look.
this is Shadow 01. Deployment
I
to
bet
the
you'd
war
be
zone
pooping.
has been authorized.
It's fine. I think I'll pay that price.
There's the poopy Rob.
Poopy rock.
The boys call me back home.
Resurgence. Stay alive to keep your squad in the fight.
Sam, like good.
Alright, soldier, mark a drop point for your
If
squad
I'm
to go
doing
get
that, just
after
throw
it.
a buckle with my cat. Come here, you got some on your forehead.
Dude, I kind of want a dog.
Yeah, dogs are just a little too high maintenance.
A nice golden
I like it,
retriever.
unfortunately. It would be cool.
Squad on your attack map.
Dead.
Go get hunting.
Get up here.
Oh my god, kid, I want you to know that you are horrendous.
I knew you were gonna.
Hostile counter UAV overhead.
It's all on you. Stay alive so your squad can redeploy.
you. I don't... Dude, kid, give it a rest. Now you're stuck up there.
I'm gonna land on him.
You got him, Saul. Oh, no, 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 no. Yes, there's so many men underneath there. I have not even gone down there. SEAL team sick. Why are we all crouch walking?
4.
Right here.
Right there, there's 2. One's broke. Oh yeah, our teammate.
I gotta reload.
Shoot him! You fucking moron! Our teammate is garbage, bro. Our teammate is so bad. Jesus Christ. Why are we giving fucking radio every goddamn time? Out here playing with fucking Forrest Gump.
I love you, Jedi.
Do what?
Good night.
So torn right now because I love Warzone. Minecraft is just, I got an itch.
Hey man, if you want to go play Wars or Minecraft.
Mine zone.
See how this
Mine
next game of Mine Zone goes, Zonecraft goes.
If you get off it, probably go to bed.
Sleepy boy. It's just I need to be on there when Nick's on there. I'm too dumb, quite frankly.
Wow.
You're building shit.
I can build stuff. I don't know how to use the stuff that I build, though.
Hmm.
You get me sifting, and boy, I know how to sift. I kind of liked it back when we sifted everything. Well, it's not that I couldn't figure out how to do it. I just don't want to watch a 45-minute tutorial when I need a 45-second clip that's smack in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, start picking things we've done already.
We're headed to the war zone. Get geared up and stand by.
What'd you say?
Start picking something we've done already and make your own 5 seconds.
I have to.
Get some views.
Put it on that Sonic channel. I don't have anything to put on there. Also gets no views on that one for some reason.
Enemies dropping into the AO.
I got my first dub in fantasy this week against Matty Ice.
I beat Josh and I beat Josh's boss.
Fuck yeah. Isn't Josh's boss your boss?
No. Marketing.
Is there not like a there's not like a big boss?
The mayor.
Yeah, the mayor.
The mayor.
Dimsdale, Dimmadome, Doug Dimmadome.
John Boss.
Hugo boss?
Sure. Whatever suits your fancy there, bud.
Hugo boss does. Hugo boss suits my every need because it's a clothing outfitter.
Dude, this is how out of shape I am. I did some curls the other day.
You deployed to the war zone.
Can't straighten my left arm.
Oh yeah, no yeah, that'll get you, man. The first time that I worked out with Chase, dude, I fucking couldn't literally sleep.
It's off.
It's understandable. You'll get past that though. Once you stop.
Yeah,
being a
but
bitch.
that's my thing, is that I always get past it, and then I stop.
Don't.
No. I got like a naturally strong upper body of just years of being an ogre.
Point for your squad and lead them in.
That's funny. Dude, I want you to know that we are
Enemy
both
soldier
platinums,
incoming.
or whatever we are. Our fucking teammate is a bronze one.
Oh, hopefully he's nasty and just has never played. I'm gonna hope for. There's many men right here.
Marking the rest of that squad on your attack map.
Behind me.
Hunting.
Oh,
Down to you, soldier. Stay sharp.
he got behind me because I thought I was slick.
Advised. Enemies deployed a buy station. You got reinforcements inbound.
Stop shooting at me, dude. Honestly.
Deploy the counter UAV.
Where is he?
Over there.
Oh, he's over here. Oh, in the corner here.
Feet. I'm good.
Enemies dropping into the AO.
Just super fun with no guns or fucking chests spawning up on the top of this fucking building. It's like fucking dandy.
You're getting another chance.
Dude, are
Make
you
it count.
fucking serious right now? And I just had fucking another team pushing me.
Until your squad can redeploy. Target down.
Same team.
Marking the rest of them.
Well, it seems like I'm landing over at Gladoc's, boys, because we're over here.
You're over here.
He might be a redneck. Sorry.
You might be.
Gas is inbound.
Hostile located.
Two guys pushing you.
Friendly counter UAV
Oh, that's
is
super
online.
fun. Yeah, they're on the back of the boat already. I'm dead.
Taking fire.
Dude, these kids, and then they just put me in a fucking blender, dude.
A blender dead?
This fucking thing's so
It's all
expensive.
on you. Stay alive so your squad can redeploy.
Teammates just randomly pushing me.
Having a fun fucking time.
Heads up. An enemy squad marked you as a bounty target. You've got reinforcements inbound.
Oh my goodness, and at the emerald one, so fucking expensive.
I see what you mean by that whole blender thing.
Okay, so that kid is hacking.